Finally, it's once again football time in Texas. AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, home of the Dallas Cowboys, as the Cowboys are home sweet home, taking on the Indianapolis Colts in preseason game number 3 for 2017. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys football. Bill Jones along with Babe Laufenberg, and we welcome in Daryl Moose Johnston. Welcome, Daryl.
Thanks for letting me crash.
May I?
There we go.
There you go. The man who gave him the moniker, Babe Laufenberg. Big night tonight. Jalen Smith starts tonight for the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott plays, Babe.
Dak Prescott plays. The most important thing tonight for Dak Prescott is to come out healthy. Then we're going to see his two backups, Kellen Moore, who people wanted to relegate either to third team or Siberia after the Rams game last year. He's going to be fine. Then we're going to get a chance to see Cooper Rush, the exciting rookie free agent out of Central Michigan. And Daryl, Bill referenced Jalen Smith. You're interested in the guys in front of him.
Yeah, linebackers always play well when those big guys up front keep them clean. So I'm going to be watching those defensive tackles up front.
All right, we're just getting started here. It's the Cowboys and the Indianapolis Colts, and it is great to be home sweet home at AT&T Stadium in Arlington.
This game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Indianapolis Colts at AT&T Stadium is sponsored by Baylor Scott & White Health. We're changing healthcare for life. DraftKings, because you don't just want to watch, you want to play. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Lincoln Motor Company, the official luxury vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys. Pepsi, all for the Cowboys. AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza.
The opening kickoff is coming up next, but first this from your local stations.
This presentation of Dallas Cowboys football is also brought to you by Bank of America. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Essilor, makers of Transitions, Crizal, and Verilux lenses. Better sight, better life. And by Ford. Visit your local North Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
It was 4 weeks ago today that the Cowboys landed in Oxnard, California for the start of training camp. And yes, they are home. Took a little field trip to Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame. Now playing the Indianapolis Colts in preseason game number 3. Bill Jones with Babe Laufenberg and Daryl Johnston up in the broadcast booth, and down on the sideline, here's Lindsay Draper. Hello, Lindsay.
Hey, Bill, thanks. It definitely does feel like we're home in Dallas. It's a full night here at AT&T Stadium, and it should be because the starters are getting to play. You mentioned the quarterback. Dak Prescott will be on the field, but notably Ezekiel Elliott will not play tonight. I'm told it's a healthy scratch, and was reminded quickly that, hey, he didn't play in game number 2 last year. Remember, this is like game number 2 for the Cowboys. Now headlining the defense, I'm told Jalen Smith is starting at that Mike linebacker position because Sean Lee is out nursing that hamstring. Rod Marinelli tells me before the game this isn't a big night for him. This is simply another step in the process, Bill.
All right, Lindsay, look forward to your reports on the sideline, and looking forward to Jalen Smith when he takes the field with the starting unit on defense, as the Cowboys will have the football first. Duke Thomas, number 26, is deep for the kickoff. The Cowboys 1-1 in the preseason, beat Arizona in the Hall of Fame game last week in Los Angeles, fell to the Rams 13-10, but this is the first time we'll see Dak and also Dez Bryant on offense.
And there you see Duke Thomas, their first-year player out of University of Texas, had himself a heck of a game last week. Defensively, was always around the football. Now he's going to be returning the kickoff here tonight, the opening kickoff, and that's got to be really exciting for a guy that played his football at Austin to sit here at AT&T Stadium returning the opening kickoff.
Jeff Locke, who is the punter for the Colts, will handle the opening kickoff duties as well. Of course, they have Adam Vinatieri, their place kicker. The left-footed Locke. And, of course, it's not Duke Thomas. Instead, it's Rod Smith. And Smith, with a flag down, gets past the 20 out to the 22-yard line. As soon as we build up Duke Thomas, it's Rod Smith, Jalen Smith's brother, who handles the opening kickoff return.
As soon as we built them up, they knew we better kick away from them.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the return team number 36. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And that is not Ed Hockley, it's his son, Sean Hockley. And that is Dak Prescott making his first start of the preseason. Of course, a year ago in Los Angeles against the Rams, his first preseason game, he was 10 of 12 with 2 touchdown passes, and it was the start of a Rookie of the Year season. But this time, he's starting back at his own 5-yard line. Cowboys' first-team offense in there. As Lindsey said, no Zeke Elliott. Instead, Darren McFadden, who moves into the slot on the right side. Empty backfield for Prescott. And he fires for Dez right off the bat, breaks a tackle, has a first down, and it's a pickup all the way out to the 28-yard line.
He's just so good after the catch. It's just a simple slant route. Good timing by Dak Prescott right there, but look at the ability to break the tackle and then get upfield into the secondary quickly.
Cowboys on the ball quickly.
Cole Beasley in the slot to the left side. You got Des Bryant and Terrence Williams in there, the receivers, and the handoff is to McFadden right up the middle. And he gets about 5. It'll bring up a 2nd and 5, and time for the Miller Lite starting lineups for the Cowboys. Brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. 3 Pro Bowlers up front. Tyron Smith starting at left tackle, along with Frederick and Martin, the other Pro Bowlers. Lyle Collins at right tackle. Jonathan Cooper is the left guard. Byron Bell started at left guard a week ago. This time it's Cooper's turn. 2nd and 5 from the 33. And Jason Witten, get a 10-time Pro Bowler into the act as the rest of that Miller Lite starting lineup. Of course, Witten, 15th year out of Tennessee at tight end. Darren McFadden, the running back, Bryant, Williams, and Beasley, and you are set. Dez comes in motion. And once again, it's McFadden up the middle and pushing his way forward past the 45. Nice pickup on first down.
And that's interesting. The Cowboys coming out in this no huddle, running everything from the line for the first appearance by their quarterback, Dak Prescott. And last week, Cowboys very poor on third down, 3 of 15 on offense. So they figure, you know what, we'll just make first downs on first and second down. They haven't got to third down yet.
And play fake, bootleg.
Another one.
There's Witten. There's a first down. Running room for the 35-year-old Witten all the way down the sideline. 17 yards.
Well, this is what a strong running game does to you.
Yeah.
It gets that defense running in pursuit, and then the bootleg comes out the backside. Just a really simple play, but well executed by the offense of the Cowboys.
You know, the whole key is, you well know, Daryl, does pass look like run? Does run look like pass? So right there, everything about that, the offensive line and Jason Witten told him they're running the football, and then all of a sudden they come back out and they run the bootleg, and Indy does not have an answer.
And McFadden up the middle. By the way, this is the second preseason game for the Colts. Last week they played the Lions, and the Lions came out running no huddle in the first series of the game as well with Matthew Stafford. That one ended in an interception, though, by John Simon of the Colts.
You know, I do think, Daryl, that's why teams are so good now in that 2-minute drill, because they run 2-minute drill. Half of them run it for half the game. Some of them run it all the game. So
it's up-tempo the majority of the game nowadays. Yeah. I mean, everybody talks about what happened at the University of Oregon, but really New England was the first team that brought that up to the NFL.
I think when you've got Brady, you can do just about anything you want, don't you? Slow it down, speed it up.
He's the outlier that messes up all of our stats.
Yeah.
James Hanna in the game, number 84. The slot to the near side. Prescott with time, throws deep down the sideline. There's Dez, and there's the end zone, and throw up the X.
Well, my guess is Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett says, okay, we've seen about enough. I know they were going to give him 12 or 15 plays, Daryl, but you seen enough?
No, I want to see it again.
Oh, okay.
I do. I mean, that was a very impressive, very efficient opening series for him. And this is Vontae Davis, double move, back shoulder throw. I mean, you can't execute it much better than that. So, well done by Dak Prescott, and that chemistry with Des Bryant already showing.
And I always say, I don't know how you defend that anymore, Daryl. It used to be you had to defend it to the goal line. Mm-hmm. Now, with the ability to throw it back shoulder. You got a guy like Dez, 6'2", 225, as Jason Garrett says, carved out of a mountain, and now you got to defend that thing.
Dak Prescott engineering a 95-yard drive to start this game for the Cowboys.
Never went to third down.
And Dan Bailey with the point after. And just like that, 3 minutes and 34 seconds into this game, the Cowboys have the touchdown. 7-0. Dak to Dez. That looks familiar. Now is a good time to order a Papa John's pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Cowboys on the opening drive of the game. The Ford scoring drive. 95 yards in 7 plays. Dak to Dez for 32, the scoring play. Ford, visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. And Sam Irwin-Hill has the football teed up. Will kick it away to the Colts. Quan Bray and Robert Turbin. Deep. And that's Bray, some 9 yards deep in the end zone. He'll take a knee, and the Colts will start at their own 25-yard line. Dez Bryant, as Jalen Smith gets the start at middle linebacker for the Cowboys. And yes, it's the first time since the Fiesta Bowl last year. We're talking 596 days ago for Jalen Smith.
Doesn't it feel, guys, like this is like Charlton Heston coming out in one of those greatest movies, greatest stories ever told, or some biblical scene? Jalen Smith is on the field.
Rod Marinelli may think it's just the next step, but I think it's a big night for Jalen Smith. It's a big night.
Yeah, and I think he was understating that a little bit when he said, it's just another night. Sure it is.
So we'll isolate on Jalen Smith, number 54. As, of course, Andrew Luck is out. He's on PUP, and so Scott Tolzien, the quarterback for the Colts. And up front, DeMarcus Lawrence, Malik Collins, Stephen Paya, and Benson Mayowa. And behind him, it's Anthony Hitchens. Moving over from middle to weak side with Sean Lee out. Jalen in the middle and Damian Wilson, the strong side linebacker. The veterans, Skandrick and Carroll at the corners. Heath and Jones are the safeties. And it's second down for Scott Tolzien, 2nd and 3. And it goes incomplete. 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Colts.
Threw it behind T.Y. Hilton there. And they've struggled on offense. Indianapolis has through camp, and that's a good reason why. And there's Jalen Smith, number 54. And yeah, how excited do you think he is, Darryl?
This is huge for him. And I know that Rod Marinelli is trying to underplay it, and it's just the next step, going through the process, getting back to where he was pre-injury. But this is a huge step for him to get back on the field, game conditions, and to show everybody how far he's progressed.
Of course, it was a devastating knee injury suffered in that Fiesta Bowl when he played for Notre Dame. Cowboys made him a 2nd-round draft pick, although they had him rated as one of the top 5 players in the draft last year. Jack Doyle, the tight end, is stopped as he tries to get near the first down sticks at the 35-yard line, but Byron Jones stops him, looks like short of the mark.
And I talked about the Cowboys offensively last week, bad on 3rd down, 3 of 15. They were equally as good on 3rd down defensively because they held the Rams to 3 and 15, and they get them off the field here.
Yeah, excellent job by Byron Jones. It's one of those routes you're trying to create an issue for the defender to get over the top. He went right in between the Colts receiver and the Dallas defender to be able to cover that flat route.
So it's punt time for the Colts. And Lance Lenore deep for the Cowboys. It goes over his head, or it goes out of bounds on the near sideline, and Cowboys will take over on offense, and it will be Dak Prescott one more time. You like it the first time? See what he can do the second time. The Cowboys, they went 95 yards, and Dak was a perfect 4 for 4. Hit Dez once, hit Witten once. He would hit Dez and Witten again. In fact, the touchdown right here to Dez Bryant covers 32 yards.
And the interesting thing about those deep balls, the touchdown to Dez there, people think of a good deep ball team, is speed. And it's not really speed with Dez Bryant. He just goes up and attacks it. So they are a good deep ball throwing team, but it's because of Dez's strength, not his speed.
From the 17, here's McFadden. He gets about 5. And on this series, Tyron Smith, the 4-time Pro Bowler, is not in there at left tackle. It is Chaz Green at left tackle. Otherwise, the rest of the starters are still in there. Of course, as we mentioned off the top, Zeke is not playing tonight.
And one of those starters is Travis Frederick, the center. And I thought what really got overlooked last year, Daryl, for Dak Prescott coming in, starting as a rookie, obviously, to have a guy like that up front, taking care of the defensive calls, smart guy that's played, great player. I really felt that helped Dak as much as anything.
Second down from the 23. A nice hole on the left side. McFadden runs through for the first down.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I think Dallas is going to be able to weather the Ezekiel Elliott suspension better than any other position on the team. This offensive line they're just pushing people 2 to 3 yards down. Look at the running lane.
Yeah, watch Travis Frederick at 72. Yeah. Not only is he smart, he can also play.
Yeah. Well, the point you made, the comfort level that he's going to have for a young quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize he was an All-Pro for the first time last year. He'd made Pro Bowls.
Right.
I assumed that he had made All-Pro at one point, but last year was his first season.
Another big hole for McFadden and another first down.
This is all coming in between the tackles right now on this drive. So obviously Jonathan Cooper, 64, that left guard spot. That's a really nice job checking with Travis Frederick on the double down, climbing up to that second level to the linebacker. So that left guard position, everybody wondering who's going to seize that spot. Jonathan Cooper off to a nice start tonight.
Chuck Pagano, the Colts head coach, said, you see the biggest jump between week 1 and week 2 for these guys, and they haven't seen a big jump defensively, and they were 3 and out on offense, so I think he's still waiting for that leap.
And Jonathan Cooper, former first-round draft pick of the Arizona Cardinals, went high in the first round. That one's batted down. That's the first incompletion for Prescott.
I mean, you look at what this group could be. Tyron Smith, first round. Travis Frederick, first round. Zach Martin, first round. La'el Collins is going to be a first-round pick if the incident doesn't happen, and Jonathan Cooper, high first-round pick. So just, incredibly talented leaving the collegiate game to get to here.
Yeah, and it was good pass protection here. They just got a hand up and got the ball knocked down, but Dak Prescott had all day to throw the football back there.
Cooper was working on number 97, Al Woods, that time. Came over in free agency from Tennessee. Another big hole for McFadden and another first down.
Zeke who, Daryl? What was it?
Start it.
Let's get it started up.
Well, this is going to allow Dallas to be aggressive, because you can be aggressive on first down, have an incomplete pass, and get to 2nd and 10, and they just run the football. Yeah. They run the ball on 2nd and 10 and pick up 14. So that's going to allow Scott Linehan to be very aggressive during the course of the season on his first down play calls, because they have so much confidence in their run game.
That was 14 yards, so runs of 11, 11, and 14 yards for McFadden on this series. There's a draw play, and it's Alfred Morris this time, and he gets a couple.
And Indianapolis said, I've seen just about enough of that running game, and they put 8 guys up in that box. And as you mentioned earlier, Daryl, on the bootleg to Jason Witten, you get that running game going. Now you got the boot. Now you're looking for play action somewhere in here. Take a deep shot. If they want to play 8 men in the box, you're going to throw the football.
And this is a Colts team. They struggled defensively last year, but Chris Ballard, the new GM, he came in. A point of emphasis was to build this team. They brought in a lot of players via free agency. They drafted first, second, and third picks of the draft to the defensive side of the ball.
They ranked 30th in the league in total defense last year. And there's Cole Beasley. And there's another first down.
I hate to keep pounding this, but again, the Cowboys have not gone to 3rd down. And when you can, Jason Garrett talks about it a lot. You got to make first downs on first down and 2nd down in this league. If you sit there in a drive and have to make 5 first downs on 3rd down, at some point the defense is going to get you off the field.
Yeah, we get an opportunity to talk to some of the best players. That was one of Peyton Manning's big points when we talked to him one time. Why do we wait till 3rd down to get the first down? I want to be aggressive on 1st and 2nd down. Keep those chains moving.
Well, and there's some coaches that believe, all I want to do is be in 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3.
That's not easy to convert.
No, eventually they're going to get you off the field.
Look at the time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And then dumps it out to McFadden, and he gets near the 22.
People talk about a sophomore slump or a jinx for Dak Prescott, and that's why there won't be any slump or jinx, because of that offensive line. Yeah. You have that kind of time to throw the football.
Well, your margin for error it expands because you've got a great offensive line, you've got a great running back, you've got a Hall of Fame tight end at your disposal. You can be smart with the ball. You don't have to press. You don't have to get outside of your comfort zone.
Love that outlet to the running back. Imagine when Zeke is able to play, what that could present this year. So it's a
it's a third down, babe.
Scott Linehan saying, wow,
what happened? What are we doing?
Who's got my third down list? They have all those play calls.
I'd stay with the second down calls he's been doing.
when you're in that play caller on the sideline and you see the guys with the charts that look like the Cheesecake Factory menu over there, where all of a sudden, it's grouped according to 3rd and 2 to 5, 3rd and 2 or less. Here we got 3rd and 8.
I never can decide what to get at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, he's only got 40 seconds to decide here.
And there's Beasley.
It's a good option.
Another first down.
That's good. I'll have the Beasley. I keep saying it, Daryl. This guy is uncoverable one-on-one.
He really is. It's one of the things that I think we're starting to see around the league. And it kind of started with the New England Patriots, with Amendola and all that group out there, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady always looking for that Cole Beasley type. And we've got him. Ryan Switzer now is supposed to be the next coming of Cole Beasley, but I don't know who you put on him in the slot. And how do you account for all the weapons that Dallas has on this offense right now?
First down at the 15. It's Terrence Williams in motion, and it'll be McFadden bouncing it outside, loses the football, and the Colts are on it. There is a flag down. Vontae Davis comes up with the football.
Flag is thrown in that area where it's usually a hold, so if that is the case, they'll turn it down.
Holding. Offense number 79. The ball was fumbled and recovered by the defense. Therefore, that penalty is declined. First down.
Chaz Green called for the penalty.
You don't like to see that from your veteran running back, Daryl.
No, but it's just a good play right there. Had it tucked away, just came loose.
Where do your donations to the Salvation Army go? Wherever hope is the only thing left. Donate today. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. Cowboys first team offense drove the football down the field one more time, but this time the football coughed up by Darren McFadden, and Vontae Davis recovered for the Colts, and they start at their own 7-yard line. Second time on offense for Indy. And that is Frank Gore trying to find some running room, and he gets out to near the 8-yard line for a 1-yard pickup.
Daryl, Frank Gore said, when I was watching that other team play, there seemed to be some big holes for their backs. Where is that for me?
Well, I don't have those running lanes. But I tell you what, he's got an opportunity to do something unique this season. If he has a 1,000-yard season this year at 34 years old, that's back-to-back. That's high. That's good company to keep. That's John Riggins, John Henry Johnson, the only other two, and they're both Hall of Famers.
And on the all-time rushing list, if he has another 1,000-yard season, he would move past LaDainian Tomlinson into 5th all-time. Right now he's number 8. Batted up in the air and incomplete. Scandrick.
Orlando Scandrick batted the ball in the air there, and then he was like a catcher where there's a foul tip and he gets the catcher's mask off, but he can't find the ball. Watch Orlando Scandrick down here at the bottom. Tips it. Now he's trying to find the ball. Where is it? It's somewhere. It's behind
right
him.
behind him.
I don't think even if he had tracked it, Daryl, it appeared like it was out the back of the end zone, but I'm sure he would have liked to try to make a play on it, but he just couldn't find the ball.
So now 3rd and 9 for Scott Tolzien and the Colts. And that's Jack Doyle, and that's Jalen Smith in on the stop, number 54, with help from Scandrick.
Cowboys got both backers up into that A-B gap on either side of the center. You see Jalen Smith bail out. They play a zone and a 4-man rush, and watch this tackle. He was going nowhere.
Well, it's good vision by Jalen. Yeah, the crossing underneath, and you let the one guy run through your zone, and you pick up the other guy crossing to the opposite side of the field. So not only the athleticism, but the vision, getting a lot of those things back because it's been so long.
And it was just a 3-yard pickup. So punt time again for the Colts. Fair catch called for by Lance Lenore again. He muffed one last week.
Well, that should be fair catch interference there, unless the Colt defender was blocked into him there.
Well, you've got the fair catch single up, and you're navigating through there.
There's a flag down, but it's back at the 10-yard line. It's going to be something at the line of scrimmage. Either somebody leaving early, but I'd like to take a second look at the end of that thing.
During the kick, holding, return team number 57. That 10-yard foul will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
So the Cowboys will have the football. Number 57 is Damian Wilson, called for the hold on the return. And the Cowboys take over on offense. So far, so good for Jalen Smith. Now is a good time to order a Papa John's pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Take a look at the third down play, and number 54, Jalen Smith, taking care of the tight end, Jack Doyle. Cowboys on offense with Kellen Moore in there at quarterback now as Prescott's done for the day. A flag down, Alfred Morris on the carry. See what Sean Hockley, how Sean Hockley explains a penalty if he's anything like his dad.
You can't top Ed. Don't even try.
Doesn't have his sleeves rolled up either.
Got to be a hold.
Oh. Personal foul, chop block. Oh. Offense number 79. 15 yards, replay, first down.
Chaz Green again that time. Kellen Moore at quarterback for the Cowboys, and he received a little bit of criticism a week ago for his performance against the Rams. But Babe, you have taken a closer look at his outing last week.
And as I said, on first glance, it wasn't great. There were 4 completions on third down that didn't result in first downs, but he was working the 3 receivers for the most part against the number 1 secondary for the Rams, and it was just a mismatch.
Loses a football and headed to the end zone. The Colts have a touchdown.
That is not a good way to start things off.
LeVar Edwards, a former Cowboy, with the touchdown.
In the pocket, it's not there. You just got to be better with your ball security. He's got 2 hands on it, but it was well done by LeVar Edwards, getting his hand right on the football.
Yes, Markevius Mingo, the former first-round pick of the Cleveland Browns, forcing the fumble, and LeVar Edwards takes it to the house.
And it was James Hanna over there appearing to get beat, the tight end for the Cowboys, on the right side of the line there. Now, I don't know if there was a miscommunication. The right tackle was supposed to fan out and get him, but Hanna couldn't handle him, and he punches the ball out.
That was an LSU touchdown for the Indianapolis Colts. 2 former Bayou Bengals combined, as it was Mingo with the forced fumble and Edwards with the touchdown, both from LSU.
So we're looking again here. It's James Hanna. Well, we get a little bit late on it.
There's Markevius Mingo up through the middle, and then Edwards looping all the way around from the defensive right side. Right spot, right time. Easy scoop and score.
Well, and Kellen Moore, it's not the start that he wanted, that's for sure. After last week, when, as you said, Bill, you taking a little fire from the fans and some media. Come out on your first play, and the ball comes out. And ultimately, you know, that quarterback is the last line of defense. When you feel that pressure around you, you're kind of no longer a quarterback. You've got to protect the ball. And then when you get out of that trouble, you go find out what to do with it.
Well, it'll be good to see the response, because you mentioned there were some people that were critical of the way he played last time out, and you point out you want to come out, you want to prove the detractors wrong. In your first play, you have a fumble, scoop, and score. So, what is Kellen Moore going to do now this series here?
Rigoberto Sanchez with the kickoff, and Duke Thomas takes a knee 7 or 8 yards deep in the end zone, and so Kellen Moore will try again from his own 25-yard line this time.
The Colts are certainly subscribing to the theory that the best offense is a good defense, because they have yet to make a first down, but they're tied at 7.
How big are takeaways, though? We've got 2 takeaways, one thwarting what would have at least been a field goal, you would think, for the Cowboys, if not a touchdown, and then they score on the scoop and scoot by LeVar Edwards. There's the numbers for Prescott. He was 7 of 8 for 106 yards in the touchdown to Dez. And on the bootleg, there's the pass to Jeff Swain from Kellen Moore, and there's a first down.
Real nice job by Bryce Butler at the end of this thing, getting Jeff Swain a few extra yards up on the sideline there. Always, as a receiver, you always want to turn your back to the ball carrier. Because if you come back and try to get your block, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to block your man in the back, or you're going to have to make the ball carrier try to avoid you too. So Butler just turns around, immediately gets on his guy, and again, gets Jeff Swain a few extra yards up the sideline.
Pickup of 17 yards for Jeff Swain, a former Texas Longhorn. That's Noah Brown, rookie 7th-round draft pick, in motion. And Alfred Morris makes a nice move and gets some yardage over left tackle up to the 49-yard line. Cowboys still have the players who started the game on the offensive line in there. That includes Green at left tackle and Jonathan Cooper at left guard.
We talked about the protection that Dak Prescott was afforded. Keep in mind, that's without Tyron Smith. Maybe the best left tackle in the game, if not the best. Certainly in the top 3, 4, however you want to define it.
Moore with a short pass to Bryce Butler, enough for a first down, and he did not have Bryce Butler a week ago. He was out with a foot injury, and of course in the Hall of Fame game he connected with Butler a couple of times on deep passes.
Just a real good job by Kellen Moore. Reads it, sees it, gets the ball out of his hands. Bryce Butler does a good job, doesn't get fancy. Got that little hook route, gets up the field, tries to split a few defenders.
And there's, I think, nice play calls by Scott Linehan in this series too. He knows he needs to get Kellen Moore settled down and get him comfortable, and it's been a nice little mix, little bootleg, some running game to lean on, some quick throws.
And Alfred Morris for a couple up the middle.
And Darryl, you've done a lot of Washington games, working for Fox and doing the NFC. Your take on Alfred Morris?
I'm a big Alfred Morris fan. I was actually at the facility, the old Valley Ranch facility, the day that he decided to sign with the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the end of the first quarter
for him to be coming here. A good physical back, good in that zone run scheme.
3 1,000-yard seasons in his career and 2 Pro Bowls, 7-7 through the first quarter. This game is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Here at AT&T Stadium, Des Bryant with a touchdown on the first possession of the game for the Cowboys, but the Colts were able to get a fumble return for a touchdown to tie it at 7 here in the second quarter. Kellen Moore, ball batted down at the line of scrimmage.
People will often talk about Kellen Moore being 6 feet tall, which he is, and not being able to throw over defenders, but I don't care how tall you are. If you're 6'4", and right there, you can be 8 feet tall, and you're not going to get the ball over defenders. You're really looking for passing lanes. You're throwing through defenders, and you just move around enough to find yourself a throwing lane. We saw Dak Prescott get one knocked down earlier, but doesn't matter how tall you are. Guy 6'7" puts his hands up, that ball's going down.
Now Woods, 6'4", 330 pounds. With the big mitt on the football, short of Bryce Butler.
That was a nice job by Alfred Morris there. We've talked about him getting more comfortable as a runner, but one of the areas you have to be good at if you're going to be a running back in the NFL is pass protection. He did a nice job on the blitz pickup there to give Kellen Moore more time.
Something he didn't really have to do a lot of in Washington.
Yeah, and he struggled with it a little bit last year. It was new to him.
So punt time for the Cowboys. JoJo Natson is deep. Number 6, and number 6, Chris Jones with the punt. Fair catch called for just inside the 10-yard line, and that's where the Colts will take over on offense, tied at 7.
Colts offense without Andrew Luck, and Andrew Luck isn't even in the stadium here, and he's got a shoulder issue, and there's a question of whether he'll be back there for the first game for Indianapolis.
Well, and that's going to be huge for the Colts. I think they've relied on that quarterback position. You go all the way back to Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
They find lightning in a bottle again when they get Andrew Luck, and if he's not in that lineup, this is a completely different team. And fortunately, they have gone out and kind of restocked the shelves defensively to help them out, but we talked about Frank Gore. He's going to be 34 years old. Tough to lean on him to carry that entire offense with Andrew Luck on the sideline.
And Scott Tolzien has been a veteran backup in this league, but he might get that opening day start because Andrew Luck is still on PUP after shoulder surgery back in January.
And Darryl, I remember Bill Parcells saying, what do you think? Just dial 1-800 quarterback for franchise? He said, there's been teams dialing that number for 10 years. Well, how seamless is that when you go from Peyton Manning to then Andrew Luck, who makes the Pro Bowl his first 3 years, leads him to the playoffs his first 3 years. Been a few of those. They get Favre to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, Montana to Young. I mean, but that doesn't happen often.
After the completion to Darrell Daniels, there's Frank Gore still in the game here in the second quarter. It's going to be 3rd and short as the Colts are trying to get something going offensively. Last week, they lost to the Lions 24-10, and the one touchdown they scored came on the last play of the game. So it was a 24-3 game until then. There's Jalen Smith. Take another look.
Fires in. Miss the backside, but
and that's part of the growing process, right? The angles, knowing when to shoot that gap, knowing when to kind of feather it a little bit.
Kill shot. Oh, he's gone.
3rd and 1. And breaking free is Robert Turbin for the first down.
And there was a notion, Darryl, that once Jalen Smith got on the field, he would make every tackle on every play. There he is again, shooting the gap. Overruns it just a little bit, can't get back on it.
And those are all things that they'll work on. He's finally had the opportunity to be out there during the course of the game, playing at game speed.
And you look at Jalen Smith out there, Darryl, and you know who's out there playing with him? Noted orthopedic surgeon Dan Cooper, because Dan Cooper did the surgery. And he's out there looking at Jalen Smith and hoping that he has himself a heck of a game.
First down of the game for the Colts. It comes just under 13 minutes to go. Let's go down to the sideline, and Lindsay Draper has a special guest.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, Dak Prescott, I saw you before the game. Let's just say you look different now. It looked like you were ready to get out there and get the first drive going. How'd it feel?
It felt great. I was ready to play a lot more than I did, and I think that's what you're getting at is the way I was locked in, ready to go. It's good to be back out there.
And the first drive just looked fantastic, connecting with Des Bryant there at the end. How much has the chemistry grown in just one off season?
It's so much. I don't know if I can honestly put into words and just how much better of a player he is. We were just talking about how good his body feels. He's just a much better player right now than he was last year at this time, and our chemistry's growing, so it's fun.
And for you specifically, Dak, how much different do you feel now in year 2 than you did in year 1?
A lot more confidence, a lot more knowledge in what I'm doing. Just going out there and trying to give all these guys on offense a chance with the ball.
I'll let you get back. Have a great year.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Dak Prescott, you saw the numbers last year, just 4 interceptions, 23 touchdown passes. Where's the biggest area that he can grow in year 2, you think?
Well, that's interesting, Bill, because people think they're going to expand the playbook. It's not necessarily that. He's just going to get to more reads within the plays that have already been called. He's just going to find more options within things they've already been doing.
3rd and 5 for the Colts. Juan Bray, the intended target. Orlando Scandrick defending.
And to that point, Darryl, we were talking to Rod Marinelli on the sideline. Your team of the 90s, you weren't doing a whole heck of a lot offensively. You just did it very well.
Yeah, you want to scale that down, and just execution becomes the key. And right there's another guy. Dak just talked about Des Bryant being healthy and having a great season. Orlando Scandrick, too, you've heard him talk about where he never really felt 100% last year coming off that ACL the season before, saying how much better he feels this year.
Lance Lenoir fields the punt, and about a 3-yard return up to about the 27-yard line. Second year back for Orlando Scandrick after the ACL injury suffered in training camp 2 years ago. Time to recognize tonight's Bank of America Offensive Featured Player of the Game. Tonight's player is number 71, the right tackle, La'el Collins out of LSU. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. As the Cowboys go back on offense now, Collins and that first-team offensive line out of the game for the first time tonight. 27-yard line. Kellen Moore with the handoff to Alfred Morris. And not much there working the left side with the second-team offensive line. Nate Newton is down on the sideline, the 6-time Pro Bowler And Nate, what you seeing out of that offensive line early on?
Bill, good. Glad to see you. Glad to hear from you. Glad to hear from you, babe. And Darryl Johnson, what's up, homie? How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Nate. How you doing?
I'm doing great. That offensive line was good. It was solid. Then they start substituting. They put Chaz Green at the left tackle. And as you see here, they had a whole slew of guys. That's when the penalties started. Up until that point, it was a perfect game. Rushing. Dak was 4 for 4, 79 plus yards with a touchdown. That first unit, I think, is good. It's just finding out who that left guard going to be. And Lyle has to get better and better at that right tackle.
And Nate, they moved Chaz Green. He started the game because Tyron Smith was out. Started the game at left tackle. They now got him at left guard. Which is his better position?
You know what? He can do both good, but I want to see him at the left guard because when they went into camp, babe, he was leading that. Then he got a little slight shoulder injury, and now Jonathan Cooper took the spot. So we'll see. But I'm wondering who's going to start next week. You know, that's the key.
Yeah, and they're looking for a left guard.
Yes, they are.
Nobody has come in and really said, that's my position, and claimed it.
I agree 100%. And, you know, if they can find out if this guy, and I hate to say this because it don't make sense, is Chaz Green a better swing tackle and swing guard than Jonathan Cooper is the swing guard and center. So it's a battle there. I think Byron Bell is out of it. I think he's a right tackle and a left tackle, so he's not in that war anymore at that left guard.
There is a flag down on the play after the completion to Bryce Butler, and it was on the tackle, a pickup of 21 yards. What does Sean Hockley have to tell us?
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 32. 15 yards will be added to the end of the run. First down.
TJ Green.
Well, we're talking about that offensive line. Indianapolis came with the blitz. They brought 6, which means you're in man coverage. There's a face mask at the end of this, but a real nice job by that offensive line of picking things up and giving Kellen Moore time to hit Bryce Butler. And it wasn't a quick route, Bill. I mean, that's a deep crosser, so they got to give him a little time to get that football off, and they did just that.
These guys are much better since the Hall of Fame game. And looking at them at the Hall of Fame game, it's like, whoa. But they got much better. The coaches work them hard. They work them diligently. Babe, you know, as well as Darryl, you know that compete drill when you're one-on-one and when your teammates are watching you. These guys have gotten much better just through that drill itself.
Well, and again, Nate, to your point, Chuck Pagano, the Colts head coach, says he sees the biggest improvement with the rookies and the young guys from week 1 to week 2 in the preseason. And Darryl, it's pretty obvious. You get to that NFL level and you say, whoa, I don't care what conference you played in. If you played the national championship game, you go, this is a little different.
Completely different. There's not a weakness on the opposition's team. And that was one of the things in college. You could exploit an area where you felt you had an advantage. When you get to the NFL level, There are no weaknesses on your opponent's side.
I mean, they're all full-grown men. I mean, they smell at each other and they tired of it. So a big play happened. Bill, explain that.
That would be Alfred Morris. Breaking into the secondary for 18 yards, Nate.
Right up the middle, Nate, so we'll keep our eye on Chaz Green at left guard. It looks like Jonathan Cooper actually had a nice job at center. And again, you know, I think that Alfred Morris, you know, just hearing him talk about how much more comfortable he feels in the system in his second year, you know, he feels like he's in better shape. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that right there. I think that was a nice little burst by Alfred that we didn't see a lot of last season.
It was a great burst, great middle. I think if the middle of your offensive line is solid, you can make up for a weak tackle, but you can't do it the other way. You can't have 2 strong tackles and a soft middle, man. That don't make a great Tootsie Roll at all.
Spoken like a true guard.
You know, you got Tony Wise, you know, our coach, offensive lineman, he said, we got to keep it strong in the middle so our tackles can prosper, so our run game can prosper, so our quarterback can step up. A quarterback, Babe, I'm talking to you, rather step up and move 6 inches to your right or left, going up the middle, than being backing up and doing the same thing. Am I correct?
Oh, I always say the worst thing for a quarterback is pressure up the middle. If it's outside, you can step up, you can see it. When it's straight up the middle or over the guards, you're in trouble.
Bad situation.
Alfred Morris with some running room. That was why it's so big, drafting Travis Frederick in the first round, Zach Martin in the first round. We talk about Chaz Green moving from left tackle to left guard now with the second unit, and Jonathan Cooper is in there at center now. And having that position flexibility is big, isn't it, Nate, on that offensive line, especially for these backups?
In today's NFL, where you get to only dress a few guys, the offensive line is the one that suffered. They like to go 7 to 8 guys, and if they can get 7, they love that. So the offensive line, due to the fact that they can't play special teams, they always suffer at that position. So flexibility within the ranks is a great thing.
All batted away by Quincy Wilson, the rookie for the Colts, as Noah Brown, the rookie for the Cowboys, was the receiver.
Noah Brown on the far left of your screen here. He's just trying to get up inside. Little pick move.
He's got to stay flat. He started to drift a little bit downfield. You start to drift, you're going to get undercut by the defender. So he's got to hold that. He's got to hold that line straight across the field.
And that route is always one at the line of scrimmage. Everybody think, oh, you're going to run away from him? No, it's 2 steps into your route. You pretty much have beat the guy, or the guy's going to be on your hip through the entire route. And that's exactly what happened to Noah Brown there.
Dan Bailey, 25-yard field goal attempt. And he is good, and the Cowboys take the lead. It's 10-7. Dallas over Indianapolis midway of the second quarter. John Deere, the official tractor of the Dallas Cowboys. Find a dealer at myjohndeeredealer.com/football. A nice Saturday night here in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys lead the Colts 10-7. 7:26 to play in the first half. Bill Jones with Babe Laufenberg and Daryl Johnston. Sam Irwin-Hill will kick off. DeMarcus Ware will be joining us in the second half of tonight's game.
I will exit and DeMarcus Ware will come in.
And Babe is longing to see his broadcast partner Brad Sham on the Cowboys radio network. He'll do that in the second half. That was through the end zone. So the Colts will take over at their 25-yard line.
But you two will still be here, right? Bill, Daryl, you'll stay.
We'll stay with DeMarcus.
I leave, and then you okay?
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
You know what it's like? Remember Bewitched? If you're old enough to remember Bewitched, and they replaced Dick Sargent with Dick York, but he was still just Darren Stevens, and nobody knew the difference. Just so you know, DeMarcus is the black man, well muscled. I am the white guy with very little muscle.
Not so well muscled.
Yes, not so well muscled. DeMarcus is the guy going to the Hall of Fame. I am not the guy going to the Hall of Fame. So if you get any confusion in here,
you just wish that you could bewitch yourself into that broadcast, because it's a long walk to the radio booth.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, Bill.
Tolzien has his men. That's Kamar Aiken, an unrestricted free agent signing from the Ravens, knocked out by Jeff Heath on the sideline.
He knocked him into the Cowboys bench.
25 yards, and on the sideline, Nate Newton with the Cowboys on defense here. Nate, you've been at training camp in Oxnard from day one. What have you seen from the defensive line in training camp?
You know what, with all the suspensions coming up, man, Lenny Jones, Lewis Neal, Mr. Charlton, and Charles Tapper. Charles Tapper, out of all of these guys, have been bringing the heat. That's number 99, dude out of Oklahoma, man. He's got the nicest first step I've seen. And I'm telling you, equal to our boy Charles Haley. He's been doing a great job.
High praise, equal to Charles Haley.
First step, not the Hall of Fame, but the first step. Okay, now, Mr. Charlton, that's Taco as y'all call it. This dude picked up his game last week, got a sack. All week long, he's been pressured. He's been doing a great job. Hands down, this guy's starting to come.
Okay, wait, Nate. As y'all call him Mr. Charlton, are y'all call him Taco? You're calling him Mr. Charlton or Taco? What do you say?
You know what? Because Taco don't get it for me, man. When I'm back from the old school, if this dude would have came in being named Taco, we would have crushed him. But Mr. Charlton sounds just a little bit stronger. And I think he's going to show everybody, man, that he was worthy of his pick. He's getting better and better every week. If you can stand up under Marinelli a whole week of Holland, then come out here, this game is easy.
Well, he did after that first week. There was a whole lot of Rod Marinelli, an earful from him last week, and then he got a sack a week ago, number 97 there. By the way, Marlon Mack, number 25, with the pickup of 13 yards there for the Colts.
It's amazing, Bill. Now the pressure these first-rounders are under, because I was hearing the word bust about Taco Charlton after the Hall of Fame game. They were 10 days in the camp. You know, they had 6 padded practices. I'm a what?
You know, that label of cowboy, babe, you know, I mean, whatever you do is magnified 10 times. I mean, but I tell you what, this kid has grown. You see him work better against Tyron Smith when he's there. You see him work Rael real good. So you get to see this by these guys, man. Like I said, Lewis Neal, I think it's his name. I don't want to. Lenny Jones and Lewis Neal.
Yeah, These
guys has picked it up. They rush hard. They do what they have to do. But my guy, My guy, this team and this defense would go as Malik Collins go. That's number 96. This dude is a beast. For the first time ever, I saw the president get it handed to him doing one-on-one drills. That's hard to do when you deal with Zach Martin every day.
And explain who the president is.
The president is Zach Martin, our all-pro, all-everything right guard. This guy got it all. Toughness, mentally, physically, he's everything. Now, I think I saw him in the whirlpool. The president, after a practice with this guy, Malik Collins.
Not in the whirlpool, like together.
He
needed to go in the whirlpool. Let's clarify.
Not together, babe. Well, I love you, babe.
No, they may fight because you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You watch those. They have a one-on-one competition drill, and you watch Zach Martin go up against Malik Collins, and it is a battle.
It's a battle. Two men. I mean, they always on edge. Woo. It's a red spot they trying to get to. You ought to see them fighting over that red spot, man. It's like you being at trying to get a triple hamburger, bro. It's ugly.
And there's David Irving with a heck of a play, and David Irving played very well last week. Another one of those guys, however, who will be suspended and missing the first 4 games of the season. Ironically, though, Bill, he will be coming back. His first game back is against Green Bay, the team where he was NFC Player of the Week last year.
Playing how many snaps in that game?
19.
19 snaps, and he made plays on about 15 of those snaps. From the 20, 3rd and 14. Over the middle to Robert Turbin, and he stopped well short of the first down sticks.
Lost in the shuffle here is that Orlando Scandrick is playing very well. Had a pass breakup earlier, a couple of nice tackles.
And he splits well off the edge, and that's the thing that Dallas has to take a look at defensively. When you don't have your edge rushers, you've got to manufacture your pressure. So how are you going to do that? And I think that's one of the big things that's really been disappointing about the fact we haven't been able to see Chidobe Awuzie, because he had 9 sacks at Colorado, and that would have helped his growth and development, understanding what he can do as a blitzer from the secondary.
Adam Vinatieri with the field goal attempt from 33 yards away, and he is good, and he has been good for about 2 decades.
And I do not need to see Jim Maurer, the Cowboys trainer, looking at Orlando Scandrick.
We'll get a report on Scandrick coming up. 7-Eleven, grab all 7 collectible Dallas Cowboys cups with your favorite players exclusively at 7-Eleven.
That whole conversation with Nate, I think, one of the things that both of these teams on each side of the ball for Dallas, offensive and defensive, when you talk about that line, is the ability to play against each other, practice against each other. There we see it right there, babe. As we went to commercial, it was Jim Maurer and Britt Brown, the 2 trainers. And there's the medical tent, which they've put in play this year, kind of creating a better environment to get more realistic information from the player in that setting.
Thinking about returning just momentarily was Duke Thomas.
I always like it. Rod Smith was the up back there, and he is telling Duke Thomas, stay. And he's saying, stay because I'm not blocking for you. Do you see me here? I'm the guy that is supposed to take the guy that's going to take your head off. I'm supposed to clear him out, and I'm looking at you telling you to stay. I always like it when the returner, Daryl, says, "Out of heck with it, I'm coming out," and then he realizes,
runs past his blocker.
That's my guy.
Where are you going?
Get your face splattered, and you say, okay, next time I think I'll just keep it in the end zone.
Rod Smith, number 45, is in the game. He's at running back. He's in the slot right now. Kellen Moore going deep down the right sideline for Lance Lenore. And Bryce Butler is there to greet him on the sideline after a nice pickup by Lance Lenore, 24 yards.
Yeah, happy for Lance Lenore here as the Cowboys are going to go on the ball here, clock running in 2:30. Remember, he had that first punt return in the Coliseum, fumbled it, had the sun in his eye, tough punt to field. So happy to see him have a little success here.
Undrafted rookie out of Western Illinois, Lance Lenore. That time not on the same page with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen Moore throwing the back shoulder fade, and Lance Lenore heading downfield.
Well, we talk about the injuries that the Cowboys are nursing right now. As far as their rookie draft class, of the top 5 picks in this year's draft class, only one's playing tonight, Taco Charlton. You got 3 cornerbacks that are out and a safety. And a wide receiver.
All hamstring injuries.
Yeah. So what about these soft tissue injuries early in camp, especially? Kellen Moore to Rod Smith.
They say keep the clock running here, 2:15. See if the Cowboys get off a play before the 2-minute warning. And after the 2-minute warning, we will address that subject, Bill, because I got some feelings about it, and I know Darryl does too.
Clock winding down.
They're just going to let it go to 2.
3rd down and 2 facing Kellen Moore and the Cowboys here at AT&T Stadium.
This is
as
the
the Cowboys and the Colts in a 10-10 deadlock late in the first half. Cowboys facing a 3rd and 2. Orlando Scandrick on the bench, and let's go down for an update from Lindsey Draper.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. When Orlando Scandrick came off the field, he was grimacing and squinting his eyes. Head athletic trainer Jim Maurer met him over here and told him we need to go to the medical tent. Scandrick then threw his helmet out of anger and is now sitting on the bench with a towel over his head. It doesn't look like he'll be back in tonight.
All right, Lindsey, we appreciate it. Kellen Moore, 3rd and 2 for the Cowboys. Going to the far sideline, incomplete to Brian Brown.
Brian Brown needs to turn his hands the other way on that ball. Get his hands pointed back to the quarterback instead of trying to catch it like over the shoulder. That would have been a nice pickup there on 3rd and 2. Cowboys need to sustain some drives. And again, Kellen Moore and the offense struggled on 3rd downs last week. They were 3 of 15, for the game. That included Kellen Moore and, of course, Cooper Rush, who we're going to see here in the second half.
Chris Jones with the punt. And it will go into the end zone. We're getting reports from the sideline that Orlando Scandrick is in the cognitive evaluation phase of things down there.
And we're talking about the soft tissue issues, Bill. And Darryl, they've got all these rookies out with hamstring injuries. I don't know if a rookie does not have a hamstring injury. So why is all this happening?
Well, I've been kind of outspoken when we've talked about the CBA with the veteran players as well. Just not enough time to get the body into shape for the demands you're going to place on it in training camp and the NFL season. And I think what we're seeing right now is the impact that the rookie class is having. And Mike Wojcik, the strength and conditioning coach for the Cowboys, had a chance to talk to him before the game. And he says, just take a look. All of our older guys were doing pretty well. Now, they held Sean Lee out with a hamstring, as a precaution. But he goes, we just didn't have enough time to get around that rookie class and get them ready for the demands that they're going to be facing through training camp. The grind, it's still a grind. Yeah, it's not as much a grind as it used to be, but it's still a grind. And then for the regular season. So
well, and now right about June 15th, they have to let them go. They can't talk to them, see them, whatever. And these guys, they just don't know the rigors that they're going to be put through in training camp. Just the running, the amount of the way the practice, the tempo is.
And the Colts are going through the same thing. Chuck Pagano went on a pretty good rant about it this week.
John Harbaugh up in Baltimore is very outspoken about it. And we all talk about concussions and trying to do everything we can in this game to minimize the impact there. But when you go in a different direction, now you open the
offside
door for
defense number 97 lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. Replay, 2nd down.
You're opening the door to be susceptible to a different type of injury. So I think the reduction in the amount of full speed practicing is why we're seeing some soft tissues with hamstrings, soft tissue with groin.
And it is basically the rookies. There's a couple other guys thrown in, and again, they don't know what they're about to go through in training camp. The veteran players know, I better get myself ready. Also, they go home for the first time with money in their pocket. That's different.
Damian Wilson comes up to put the hit on the receiver right at the first down sticks, and it's going to be a first down for the Colts.
And that is the area, and it's a shame for these young guys because they didn't get to grow during the course of camp with these issues. And that's everybody talks about how do you replace the edge rusher with the suspensions, but I think everybody's biggest concern right now is still that secondary.
And you're talking as down goes the quarterback, and it's Damontre Moore in there first to get Tolzien with the sack. And we talk about the secondary, the 2nd-round draft pick.
Timeout.
Chidobe Awuzie, Jordan Lewis, the 3rd-round draft pick, another cornerback, has missed almost the entire training camp so far. Xavier Woods, who played very well last week, safety, 5th-round draft pick, and Marquez White has had hamstring issues. Not to mention Ryan Switzer, the 4th-round draft pick, the receiver.
Availability, right, babe?
Availability is a great ability.
Yeah, you got to be able to be out there.
Hey, you talk about Brandon Carr, right? people were up and down on him. I liked him a lot better than most people did. Anyway, long and short, 144 consecutive starts for Brandon Carr. 144. It's the most in the NFL. Cowboys lead actually at 3 positions. Jason Witten, #1 tight end in terms of consecutive starts. Travis Frederick, the #1 center in terms of consecutive starts. But you're exactly right. You're counting on these young guys in week 1 against New York Giants, and they have not practiced.
Here comes Taco around the corner and goes incomplete. Putting the pressure on was number 97.
That's what fans want to see there.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, don't underestimate the ability of Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, to motivate these guys up front. And one of the things that I talked to him about, we had a chance to visit with him before the game, and I saw the little story from Chidobe Awuzie, and he said that he got called for loafing and he didn't feel good about his hustle. That is all Rod Marinelli right there. I mean, the one thing you have to do in this defense is hustle. And you're starting to see these guys, up front with that hustle, that never stop mentality.
Robert Turbin trying to get some yardage back as we're down to 20 seconds left. By the way, that is the Colts starting left tackle, Anthony Costanzo, still in the game. First team offensive line for Indianapolis.
Timeout, Dallas. Their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
Talk about Anthony.
Please reset the game clock to 24 seconds. 24 seconds on the game clock, please. Thank you.
It is a Hockley. He won't let me talk. No, I'm kidding. Actually, Sean Hockley, just so you know, Ed Hockley's son, he's actually a back judge. But what the NFL does during the preseason, they try to get some guys some experience as a referee. So he is refereeing. They have I believe it's Scott Green is the actual referee on the sideline that's kind of helping out and running some things here. But anyway, this is a little bit of a practice game for the officials as well. So they let some of the guys who don't typically referee the game, and of course the referee is a gentleman in the white hat who works out the mechanics of all the fouls that we hear on the broadcast.
And Sean Hockley has been an NFL official now going into his 4th year, was hired in 2014. Lenore runs out of bounds after receiving the punt. Ed Hockley has been an NFL official since 1990 or so.
Yeah, the best, by the way, the best. That's my guy. In case you're wondering too, 3 sets of fathers and sons officiate in the NFL, the Hockleys being one of them. And then there are 4 sets of brothers that officiate. So, family business.
Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today for a chance to win big, the Texas Lottery. Cowboys with just precious seconds left in the first half. 16
I don't know why
seconds.
You just don't take a knee here and get off the field.
Over the middle, Rod Smith. And he'll get up near the 30-yard line.
What do you think, Daryl? Just take a knee? I mean, you've got now 8 seconds. You're not going to score.
No,
chances of them scoring are better than you. The other team scoring are better than you scoring.
Situational elements of the game. I mean, you try to replicate those during the course of training camp, and maybe they just feel, hey, maybe we're not going to get points, but let's see how efficient we are.
And get a little
these last 19 seconds.
Yeah,
could you have gotten 35 yards if we needed 35 yards to get into field goal range?
You get to run your 2-minute offense, I guess,
But I agree. It sometimes it's smarter just to take that knee, get in at halftime,
don't invite
keep everybody
disaster.
healthy.
And dropped by Smith with 4 seconds left. It was a similar situation last week at the end of the half, and then it got down to about 4 seconds left, and they decided to go ahead and take it.
Yeah, maybe they'll do that here. Well, no, they're
substituting.
They got a substitution coming in. But maybe this is the victory formation. Taking out a couple of receivers. Yep, taking out a couple of receivers and bringing in a couple of tight ends.
Noah Brown, some 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And that will do it for the first half of play as the Cowboys start very quickly with the first team offense.
This is the end of the first half.
Prescott leading a 95-yard drive. The no-huddle offense as the Cowboys got on the board.
Please reset the game clock to 13
A fumble
minutes.
return for a touchdown by the Colts, their lone touchdown of this first half, and we are at the half tied at 10-10 as we await Jason Garrett for his comments on the first half. By the way, Babe is going to go ahead and stick around for the second half.
I have been invited. I've been invited back for the second half.
Maybe the best news all first half.
All right, let's go down to the sideline and Lindsay.
Thanks, Bill. Coach, your starters in their first drive looked fantastic. What did you like?
There was a lot to like early on in this game. We drove the ball down very effectively on offense in the first drive and scored. Got a 3-and-out on defense, drove it again on offense. Disappointing that we had the turnover down in the red area. And the defense did a good job again, but then there was a little part in the game where we had a penalty, and they had the sack that they returned for a touchdown. So the big lesson, the big takeaway is when you get them in that position, you got to cash in. We did a lot of good things. We obviously have to do better stepping on their throat.
Jalen Smith starting for Sean Lee tonight. It was just a step in the process, Marinelli told me, but how good was it to see him out there?
It was great to see him out there. He's worked so hard to earn this opportunity to go play. Looked like he was around the ball a lot. Looked like he played with a great spirit. We'll check out the tape and see how he actually played, but it was fun for all of us to see him out there.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay.
Bill?
All right, Lindsay, the Jason Garrett interview brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams, the official paint supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Jalen Smith in for about a dozen snaps on defense. One of the highlights of this first half. We're tied at 10. We'll break it on down as it's halftime here at AT&T Stadium.
Welcome back to the halftime show here at AT&T Stadium. Mascots galore. We saw him pregame, guys. We see him now because it is Rowdy's birthday. Love it. What are you guys into mascots? Yeah, no?
Nah, I'm not into mascots, but that Slurpee show looks good.
It's fun to see other mascots besides
right?
Rowdy.
They're having a party. Okay, I'm Lindsay Draper. I've got Nate Newton with me and David Hellman of DallasCowboys.com. Nate, you've been on the sidelines. Dave, you've had a bird's eye view up in the press box. Let's first talk about the starters' opening drive. Dave, how hyped were you?
I mean, how much better could you want that to go, in all honesty? I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's not playing. It's maybe a good preview for how it's going to look with him suspended to start the season, and they look fantastic. I mean, Dez Bryant does his thing. Darren McFadden's moving the chains. Jason Witten gets involved. That's a perfect look at what this offense can do. The fact that Zeke wasn't part of it was even scarier because, I mean, they just have so many weapons, and they utilized all of them in scoring that first touchdown.
You know, you always wonder what it's going to look like for Dak when Zeke is not there, but he was 4 for 4, 70-plus yards, a 32-yarder to Dez. They looked smooth. They looked like they was ready to operate.
And speaking of starters, Jalen Smith was out there because Sean Lee out nursing that hamstring. Nate, you were down here when Jalen got in on his first tackle. How excited did he look?
Yeah, he didn't look excited, but I was excited because he dropped back into the flats. He came up and made a serious third down tackle, kept the guy from
You didn't think he looked excited? He runs up there and hits the swipe
well,
on the
he looked excited after the play, but I'm
pumped.
looking at him before while he's sitting on the bench while he's preparing himself, and he had a serious look. I mean, Rod Marinelli said it was just another game. We know it was just another game. I know it's just another game.
I don't. It's not just another game. It's been 600 days since the kid got to play football. He looked absolutely phenomenal. I mean, yeah, it's a start. I mean, he's not in the Pro Bowl. He gets out there. They wanted him on a 10 to 15 play pitch count. He got to play in 3 different series because the defense was so effective. He looked absolutely great. He gets up there, makes a third down stop to get the defense off the field. Like I said, he's not an all-pro yet. It's a start, but for his first game in almost 2 years, I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
All right, as we wrap it up here from the field at AT&T Stadium, what do you need to see in the second half that would make you happy, Dave?
I want to see some of these young guys make some plays. I mean, obviously the offense kind of stalled when the starters got out. The second string goes in. Kellen Moore kind of not moving it as great as the starters had been. Obviously, I want to see, the Noah Browns of the world make some plays. I want to see Rod Smith continue to get involved. On defense, same thing goes. I just want to see young guys who are not guaranteed to make this team making big plays out there.
All right, let's go to break, and when we come back, much more to come from AT&T Stadium.
It's a 10-10 game at halftime here at AT&T Stadium. It's pretty good action going on the field during halftime that perhaps we should televise. Bill Jones, Babe Loffenberg, and Daryl Johnston. And your impressions, what you're seeing on the field, not at halftime, but in the first half.
Darryl, you started.
Well, I thought Jason Garrett was spot on. I thought the first drive was fantastic. You got to get a little bit more consistent. I think you learn the value of the possession of the football. And I did like is you got to step on their throat. When you have the opportunity to go up 14 or 10, you've got to go up 14 or 10. So the costly turnover in the red zone and then the fumble to give Indianapolis 7 points.
Yeah, and I think at the start of the game, Bill, you've got your ones in. You're obviously looking for a group performance at that point. Then when the backups come in, you're looking for individual performances. And, yeah, I don't think it could have been any better for that starting group. They start off, they go 95 yards. They start it with a 23-yard completion to Dez Bryant. They end that drive with a 32-yard touchdown completion to Dez Bryant. So all's good with the world.
And, of course, the starters are out for the Cowboys, but the starters remain in the broadcast booth as Babe Loffenberg will stick around for the second half with Daryl Johnston. 10-10, the second half straight ahead. Get a behind-the-scenes look at AT&T Stadium with a VIP self-guided or art tour. Stadium tours are available daily. For more info and to purchase tours, visit attstadium.com/tours. First half stats brought to you by Miller Lite. A 10-10 score, and the Cowboys lead in rushing yards, 94-42. Passing yards by 101. So the total yards heavily in favor of the Cowboys, but they also lead in turnovers. Colts have 2 takeaways, and that has resulted in 1 touchdown and kept the Cowboys off the board in the red zone the other time. Dak Prescott 7 of 8 for 106 yards and a touchdown, and here is the second half kickoff.
Oh.
JoJo Natson dropped the football, but then recovers. More ways than one, recovered the football and got out some decent field position considering the way that started.
That was a situation again, Daryl, where his blockers say, okay, stay, keep it, and they runs right by him.
Kellen Moore, he reviews things from the first half. He'll be out of there in the second half, but he was.
And again, I know I'm in the minority here, Bill, but I'm fine with Kellen Moore as my backup. I really am.
6 of 14 in the first half for 70 yards for Kellen Moore.
Taco Charlton says they moved.
Ball start.
Colts are saying no, he
Offense,
moved.
Number 64, 5 yards, first down.
What do you think? What do you think if the NFL, Daryl, was like going to play pickup basketball at the gym where you call your own fouls?
Yeah.
How long do you think the game would last?
Quite a while. Quite a while. But again, that we talked about having to bring the blitz if you don't have that consistent rush when you're going after the quarterback. And right there, you saw Taco Charlton sliding down in, and then you had your linebacker coming in from the outside.
Not much there. And knifing through to make the initial hit was Damian Wilson, a starting linebacker.
Tough thing about this too, and we'll see, where DeMontre Moore falls. Does he make the football team or not? David Irving suspended. He's suspended. So you're putting your football team together, Daryl, and you got to take into account, okay, we're going to get these guys back. DeMontre Moore in week 3. It'll be David Irving in week 5. DeMontre Moore serving a 2-game suspension. David Irving serving 4. How do you put your football team together on the defensive line like that?
Yeah, self-inflicted challenges by the guys on this team, and that's why it's so important to eliminate those distractions.
That's Marlon Mack, the rookie out of South Florida. He's short of the first down. It is Philip Walker, another rookie out of Temple, in there at quarterback for the Colts to start the second half.
And the Colts are searching behind Andrew Luck.
Offense number 62, half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
So that'll back the Colts up. Well, Raven Clark out of Texas Tech, who is projected to be their starting right tackle. That'll back him up inside the 10-yard line all the way back to the 9.
Yeah, never fun. You come out for your first series, Daryl, and all of a sudden, first thing you have is second and 24.
Did we talk about this at halftime about being a little bit more efficient with our offense?
Philip Walker. That's complete to Bug Howard at the 15-yard line.
That's a good throw because that's tight coverage. by the Dallas Cowboys secondary, dropping out, dropping into coverage. How was Leon McFadden during camp? Now, what kind of camp has he had with the young guys not being able to get in there and get some reps?
Yeah, I think he's been maybe good, not great. What do you think, Bill?
Certainly getting an opportunity with all the injuries in the secondary. And, of course, he played during the regular season some last year. That's Philip Dorsett on the far side, former first-round draft pick. And he's a guy that Colts fans have been waiting on for a couple of years.
And they've had to wait because he's been missing camp himself with an injury. This is his first game back.
And Rigoberto Sanchez is on to punt, and Lance Lenoir deep for the Cowboys. The Colts fans have to be really frustrated because the Colts have not been able to do anything offensively.
Cowboys have 12 men on the field here. I'm adding them up, and I'm saying, wait, okay, well, maybe I counted somebody twice.
12 men by the defensive team in formation, 5 yards, still 4th down.
You know, and Lance Lenoir, Darryl, you're a special teams guy. As a returner, he's counting them up back there, is he not? They're all in front of him.
Exactly. One of the things that the punt returner is going to do. And Rich Bisaccia has got to be a little bit frustrated because one of the things coming off that Rams game, I thought the decision-making and the coverage was a little bit spotty on special teams, and they've kind of followed that up again here this evening.
And another false start. I know every now and then as a quarterback.
Before the snap, false start by the offense, number 45. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Could happen in practice, and occasionally you'll see it in a game where there's 12 men on defense, right? And you look up and you're trying to find the strong safety, right? And you say, okay, he's over on the right. Then you look left, and you know, oh, they've got a strong safety. Wait a minute, what? All of a sudden you're like, I'm really messed up here because I don't know what the heck they're doing. And then,
what kind of defense is that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, they got 12 guys.
It's Tyvis Powell, the gunner out of Ohio State, was called for the false start.
Moonshot.
Sending Lenoir back inside his own 20-yard line. Let's see what the rookie out of Western Illinois has got.
Yeah, we got a penalty coming back. Noah Brown just drilled the punter.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be, that is down. Yeah, that's bad. That was a dumb play by Noah Brown. Not to mention you can get a guy hurt, which he just did.
Rigoberto Sanchez, rookie punter out of Hawaii.
Well, I saw that right at the 50.
There's Noah Brown out of Ohio State, 7th round wide receiver. And the NFL certainly trying to crack down on those type hits.
During the run, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the return team, number 85, hitting the kicker out of the play. That 15-yard penalty we've enforced from the dead ball spot. 1st down.
So that'll back the Cowboys up after this from Noah Brown. Check out number 2.
At all the things that constitute unnecessary, away from the play, you know, working back toward your goal line, all the things that constitute an illegal play.
Cowboys will start inside their 20. Welcome back to AT&T Stadium as we give you looks around the structure of AT&T Stadium at the award-winning artistry around the stadium, the Southwest Monumental Staircase, a colorful sight. Coming Home, Meet Me at the Waterfall, designed by Franz Ackermann. On the 18-yard line, Kellen Moore stays in the game at quarterback to start the second half, and Alfred Morris in there as well.
And if you've never taken a tour here of AT&T Stadium, I strongly suggest you do. The art is just world class. So even if it's like the old thing, what, come for the dinner, stay for the pie? Come to watch where the Cowboys play, but you got to check out the art because it is truly world class. It's magnificent. I find myself from time to time when I'm out here doing an event or whatnot, I go, if you got some time to kill, I go up and check it out.
Alfred Morris now 7 carries for 42 yards. And the Colts showing blitz. Luke Rhodes.
See, I would call this on Dallas.
Yeah, Byron Bell moved late. Let's see what happens.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 46. 5 yards. First down.
This is one of the new rule changes. I don't agree with this. You know, we always had to kind of hold our position, you know, as the guard right here. You know, he hasn't really impacted you a ton. I mean, you're extremely late getting there, and you would always told, hold in, sit in, don't move. We were trying to get drawn offside. That was legal.
You remember what they said? Hold your water.
Hold your water.
What did hold your water mean ever? I mean, I knew what it meant, but where did it start? What was the genesis of holding your water? I mean, you're not pregnant.
I'm still trying to figure out Riverside.
Yeah, exactly.
That gives the Cowboys a first down. Kellen Moore is a wide open Keith Smith, the fullback, making like Daryl Johnston down the side.
We just had the Riverside discussion out in camp this year, Daryl, because they're Riverside, which means you're switching. You're going the opposite way. And we wondered where was the genesis of Riverside. Now, at least in California, though, there is Riverside, California. Maybe it started out there.
I think it comes from Tennessee, and there was a river along the practice field. So when they did it, they would want you to go to the Riverside. So when you flipped, you were going to the Riverside. I think is the history.
But we all know what, you say Riverside, every football player knows what you're talking about. But you're like, where? And I don't think anybody ever questioned. I wonder where that came from.
Alfred Morris gets about 3 to the 46.
I'm excited to see Rod Smith here in the second half. He'll get some carries. Converted fullback. Although he'll play a little fullback, a little tailback, a little special teams. Funny too is, last year he weighed about 243, 245, he said. Now he's down to 230 because he's back at that running back position.
Well, they had him back with kicks, right? He brought back a kickoff.
I said, you better hope they don't move you back to fullback, because then you got to put on 15 more pounds.
Lance Lenore goes incomplete.
Yeah, just a little bit out in front. Kellen Moore wants to put that ball right on his numbers. He's got Lenore open here. We'll take a top of your screen there. That's Lance Lenore. Like
a little high and a little bit late. Does it need to be there on the spot a little quicker?
Again, put it right in his numbers. Split that 1 into 4.
All right, Babe, you say you like Kellen Moore as the backup. What is it you like most about Kellen Moore?
I just think he can handle things. He doesn't get rattled. He's a winner. Now, if you're waiting for him to be 6'4" and 230, that's not going to happen. But also, as I say, there's 10 teams that don't like their starter. So, nice job there.
Brian Brown, there's a flag in the secondary.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they're not coming in as your backup to the best of my knowledge. So, there's a limited talent pool out there. And I also think, too, you don't want to be bringing in a different guy every year. I think the Cowboys got themselves into trouble with that.
Illegal contact by the defense number 50. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
And I go back to 2, and I know people poo-pooed it. The guy threw for 435 yards against Washington in that last game of the season a couple of years ago. And there's only been two other quarterbacks in NFL history that threw for 400 yards in their first or second start. So there's 3 total. Kellen Moore is one of them.
7.5 yards per attempt in limited time that year. Lance Lenore down to the 31-yard line.
The other misnomer, Daryl, is that he doesn't, he can't throw the ball down the field because he doesn't have the big arm. But the ball went down the field more when he was in the game than it did when the other 2 were playing, Brandon Whedon and Matt Castle, 2 veteran guys.
Yeah, but look at your head coach right there. Jason Garrett never had a huge arm, but Jason Garrett could stretch the field. It's all about when does the ball come out.
Right.
And Jason was excellent at getting the ball out and down the field.
And it's not a guy, Kellen Moore is not a guy who had a 100-mile-an-hour fastball who then had Tommy John surgery and had to learn to perfect the knuckleball. He's always had this arm, and he's learned to play with it and win with it.
And he did win in college at Boise State. Only 3 losses in his 52 starts at Boise State. A couple of losses to TCU. The Horned Frogs are quick to point out.
Beat Oklahoma, beat Georgia, right? But you would know about that Oklahoma. Oh,
that was a different quarterback
talking to a Sooner.
Bowl.
Well, yeah, but I thought he beat him as well. No, but he had big games against teams from Power 5 conferences and won. I remember talking to Chip Kelly last year, San Francisco, before the game. We were talking about. He said, "I love the guy. I love it." Recited every stat I mean, I thought I was talking to his dad. He knew every stat of Kellen Moore out of college.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you did not lose to Boise State twice.
Okay.
That's my Sooner pride. 3rd and 6.
But as you talk about having that stability at the backup quarterback position, the fact that Scott Linehan, as soon as he had the opportunity to bring him down from Detroit, knowing the backup role that he played for Matthew Stafford. So I agree. I think it's a big part of what you're doing going into a season is having that stability.
There's Scott Linehan right there, Cowboys offensive coordinator, and you're exactly right, Daryl. He was in Detroit, had Kellen, so I like to say people, oh, well, Linehan likes him. He's the only guy well, he's the guy that's seen him forever, coached him, is in the meetings with him. So I defer to that guy.
Timeout called by Kellen Moore.
Interesting. He's going to be a coach one day. As he's calling timeout, Jason Garrett on the sideline is also calling timeout.
Their first of the half. Full timeout.
7:43 to play. The Dallas Cowboys will host 6 practices as part of 2017 training camp at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco this coming week, Monday through Thursday, and the following Monday and Tuesday, the 28th and 29th. This event will provide fans the opportunity to see current Dallas Cowboys players as they prepare for the 2017 football season. Training camp over in Oxnard. It moves to Frisco, and yes, you have a chance to watch them Monday through Thursday this week, and then Monday, Tuesday the following week.
Colts are showing blitz, and Kellen Moore is checking out of whatever they had initially.
And there's Lance Lenore, can't hold on to it at the 20-yard line.
And going back to it, I talked about it at the top of the show, Bill, that last week Kellen Moore had the 3 receivers out there basically going against the ones from the Rams, and it was a mismatch. He gets into the right play. He gets the right call. He makes the right throw, but it's not Des Bryant out there working. It's Lance Lenore. The ball's on the money. The ball's just dropped. You get the one-on-one matchup, and you just don't make the play. But that's not Kellen Moore's fault, but you're going to look at the thing and say, hey, didn't convert on 3rd down.
Sam Irwin Hill, the Aussie who went to the University of Arkansas with a 45-yard attempt. It's blocked. And the Colts will take over with very good field position.
I say it all the time. Never get concerned about special teams in the preseason.
Margus Hunt, the guy from SMU, the Estonian giant who had so many block kicks at SMU. There he is, big number 94, his first year with the Indianapolis Colts.
Rolling on the field is a blocked field goal recovered by the defense. It will be their ball, 1st down at the dead ball spot.
Margus Hunt was a 2nd-round draft pick of the Bengals in 2013. Never did much with the Bengals and signed as a free agent this year with Indianapolis.
Up the size. He was a guy with the red dot on his helmet in Pee Wee football where you couldn't touch the ball because you're too big. He's still too big.
It's Joe Natson. The Estonian giant, Margus Hunt, by the way, the world junior record holder in the discus. He went to SMU to run track, and they dropped the track program, so he wound up playing football there. And, boy, he had an amazing Hawaii Bowl that basically made him a 2nd-round draft pick. That was his junior year there.
I love those stories where guys come for one sport and something happens and they end up playing another. Somebody sees them and say, hey, want to try out for the football team?
Ran a 4.640 at the combine with 38 bench reps as Marlon Mack shows what he did at South Florida for 3 years.
Yeah, I'd say this is his 3rd nice run of the game tonight. So for Colt fans, worried about the Frank Gore, Robert Turbin situation at running back, Marlon Mack has looked really, really nice this evening.
They have high hopes for him. He's an explosive guy, 4th-round draft pick out of South Florida.
Different style than the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
Listed at 6 foot, 210 pounds. Another American Athletic Conference player like Margus Hunt. He was a 3-time first-team all-conference running back at South Florida, the all-time leading rusher in South Florida history.
Have a little officiating conference on the field here.
And you last till the 4th round with those accolades.
It's so funny now, Daryl. I look at it, and I was talking during the week, and you see all these really good players out there, and they're playing good football.
There was no foul on the play. The action was legal. for a block below the waist. First down.
So anyway, they're playing a lot of good football at a lot of schools. And you look at Central Michigan, right? They've given the Cowboys Cooper Rush here, who we're going to see here later on in this game, been doing outstanding as a rookie free agent quarterback. Kayvon Frazier last year from Central Michigan, So they're not just good players coming from Power 5 conferences. They're all over the place.
From the 36, and nothing there for the Colts that time. Swarming Dallas defense.
Kayvon Frazier coming off the edge right there, number 35. Central Michigan making the tackle on cue. That's always nice.
and good support. He came in and he kept the running back on his inside shoulder, didn't get too far down inside to allow him to bounce to the outside.
He's been very active this preseason, Kayvon Frazier.
That second year, he was a rookie last year, and you're kind of feeling your way through things, and seems to have figured it out a little bit.
2nd and 11. Walker, the rookie out of Temple, finds Marlon Mack. And Mack with a pickup near the first down sticks. Looks like he's got it. Let's go down to the sideline and Lindsay.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. You mentioned Kayvon Frazier, safety in his second year. He told me in Oxnard at camp, actually last year I had a stress fracture in my foot coming from the combine. I was so nervous at camp, so nervous during the year, but now that that's been fixed and now that my leader, Barry Church, is not on this team anymore, I know I got a lot to prove this season.
And he's getting an opportunity with the injuries in the secondary, as Xavier Woods, the 5th-round draft pick this year, is out this game after being very active last week against the Rams. Walker to the sideline to Quan Bray. It goes incomplete.
And the shame is every time I see a guy, Bill, in practice out at Oxnard, and now obviously they're back here at Frisco, you say, boy, I want to see more of that guy, and then he comes up with a hamstring injury. Xavier Woods was that guy. Hamstring. You're watching Ryan Switzer, right? He's doing great. Hamstring. You don't get to see him. These guys got to get on the field, Daryl.
Well, we talked about it at the end of the first half about the soft tissue stuff. I think we just got our answer, Bill.
That's right.
It's Babe.
Come on, I get blamed for a lot of things, and deservedly so, but I cannot be blamed for hamstring injuries by Dallas Cowboy players.
That ball's batted down. It is ruled incomplete.
The ruling on the field is a forward pass that was incomplete. 3rd down.
It was a conversation we had last year, during preseason, how is Dallas's defense going to be? And I felt Brandon Carr would step out. I knew that Morris Claiborne had a good offseason for the first time in a long time. And I thought the defense played well and expected to. This year coming in, everybody had those same concerns. And you talk about, well, there's a lot of young guys here. I think they're going to be fine. But the fact that you point out that they're not on the field.
Right.
They're not having the opportunity to learn the system under Rod Marinelli. So I think it does, the longer that they're out of the lineup, the bigger concern it becomes for the Cowboys defense.
Woody Barron, the undrafted rookie out of Virginia Tech. The pass goes incomplete.
Now that's a guy talking to Leon Lett pregame. I brought up some of the guys that they brought up, Lewis Neal and Jordan Carroll, and Leon Lett quickly said Woody Barron.
Really?
Watch Woody Barron 68. He's not as quick as those other guys, but he is really got good technique. He always does his job. He's assignment true almost every snap.
.42-yard attempt by Adam Vinatieri.
By 44-year-old Adam Vinatieri.
The ageless one.
The Roger Federer of football.
This game is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. At beautiful AT&T Stadium in Arlington, we're late in the 3rd quarter. Bill Jones with Babe Loffenberg and Daryl Johnston. Lindsey Draper on the sidelines as the Colts have a 13-10 lead thanks to Adam Vinatieri's 42-yard field goal.
Here's Adam Vinatieri. I was talking to him before the game on the sideline, and he said there are guys on the team, Daryl, that were not born when he came into the league. Weren't born. I was like, he's 44 years old.
Well, in fact, Marlon Mack would be one of those guys. He's in his 22nd year, Vinatieri is, and Marlon Mack just turned 21.
Is that crazy? He said my pension is really getting up there. Yeah, it's 22 years later.
Hard to reminisce when nobody knows what you're talking about.
Well, the rookie year. No, Cowboy fans will never forget this, but Adam Vinatieri ran down Herschel Walker his rookie year on a kickoff return. Herschel was in his second tour of duty. I've never seen anything like it.
24-yard line. Cooper Rush in the game for the first time. The rookie out of Central Michigan. He'll run that play fake, bootleg to the far sideline, and leaping and making the catch is Easy Wachiku. Not far from a 10-time Pro Bowler on that Cowboys sideline. That would be one Jason Witten, who joins us from the sideline now. Hello, Mr. Witten.
How you doing, Bill?
Doing very well. You got Daryl Johnston and Babe Laufenberg up here as well. As we show your career statistics in front of you right now, over 1,000 receptions, nearly 12,000 yards. But does it feel like 15 years in this league yet for you?
No, it's flown by. You know, it just, as you hear a lot of guys say when it's over, you know, it seems like it goes fast, so fast. And I'm just enjoying it right now. You know, a lot of work went into this all season. I like our team, and it's a lot of fun. So it's good to get back out here on the field and get some work in, get ready for the season.
Hey, Jason, you guys talked last year at the end of the Green Bay game. A lot of you talked about the disappointment in not finishing that game the right way, about how good a group of guys you had, and you really wanted to do something special last season with the Barry Churches, the J.J. Wilcoxes that aren't here with you anymore. What's the team chemistry like this year coming into this season as you guys lamented the loss of some of the great guys you had as teammates last year?
Yeah, I think anytime you have success, you know, it's normal that you lose guys, and you experience that. I know in the 90s when you had success, you see guys go on in free agency, but our chemistry and camaraderie has been great. It's a good team. I think Coach Garrett and his staff and really the entire organization has put a lot of emphasis on bringing in good guys that love football, love playing, and love to work at it. So, you know, we had a good season, 13-3, and had a chance at it there in the second round. It gets tough, but I think our focus was you have to build on that. You know, you can't say, oh, we flipped it and we had success. You got to capitalize on it. And so we have a good mixture of guys. I think those young players certainly had a lot of success, but the thing that I've been so excited about is they came back and looked at it and said, I can play better. We all can get better, and that's been our focus and emphasis this offseason.
With Babe Laufenberg here, and I saw you at the Cowboys golf tournament this offseason. I think it was in May. You looked outstanding. Golf shirt, muscular. I said, I don't want to hear in training camp that you tell me you're in the best shape of your life at 35, because when you're 22, you're in the best shape of your life. You poked me in the chest and said, I'll tell you what I told Garrett, just put on the tape. So when you put on the tape from training camp, you see the same Jason Witten?
Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of work into it, and I realize when the older you get, you know, really you're trying to fight off father time. And, you know, Coach Wojcik and his staff and Jim Maurer and Britt and the trainers, they've been a close team for me, and guys that I can trust and give me honest evaluation, and then go into the all season as you plan and work at it is, how can I get better? How can I continue to fight off father time? And so I put a lot of work into that, and it's good to see it paying off so far, but it's a long season. I know what it takes, and you have to lean on a lot of other things, you know, your experiences and understanding coverages and techniques that you try to do. And so I'm really optimistic about my play and what my role is with this offense, and certainly the total package of this group. It's a really fun, neat group, and I think we know what our identity is as a football team, certainly on offense, what we try to do, and I really feel really comfortable in that role.
A couple of completions by Cooper Rush right here, but I want to ask you about a second-year tight end that a lot of Cowboys fans are talking about. That, of course, is the former basketball player from Baylor, Rico Gathers. Of course, he's out this week because of he's in concussion protocol, but what have you seen from Rico in his second year now?
Yeah, Rico's done a really good job. I mean, you think where he came from and really what the challenge he had coming into the NFL, not playing football since 8th grade, and it was just night and day from what he was a year ago. And so he deserves a lot of credit. The coaching staff of developing him. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, certainly has great hands, and made some huge plays for us in training camp. So at this position, you just try to continue to get better and kind of bridge that gap for him. And I thought he's done a good job. And, you know, he's trying to get healthy and get back out there. And so just continue to build on his camp and have a role. And definitely has a size and potential that you look at and say, wow, this guy can be a mismatch on the football field.
Hey, Jason, give us a scouting report on what we can expect from Tony Romo in the broadcast booth.
Well, you know, I haven't got to see him much. I saw him up there in Canton, and he was in a corner booth over there. But I know he's been working really hard at it, and he sees the game and really can break it down. I mean, his whole entire career, that's been his strengths, is to see it and kind of simplify it. And so I think people are going to see his personality, and I think he's going to do a great job. Him and Jim seem like they have great chemistry, and so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him, and I know he's excited for this challenge.
We're not trying to get you retired right now, Jason. You've got at least 5 years left in you, but you think broadcasting could be in your future, or what route would you go after football?
Oh, I don't know. I just there's a lot of talented guys like Daryl that have made that transition and holding on to those jobs pretty firmly. So I just enjoy playing, and I think as many of those guys have seen that you've seen them make that transition, they just love being around football, and they tell the story so well, and so. You never say never, and I want to be around the game in some capacity, but right now I'm living the dream. This is a great opportunity for me. I'm all in with this team and my role with it, and so I'll have time to reflect and think about that in years to come.
It's Cooper Rush for Noah Brown. That's a touchdown. Jason Witten, you're a good luck charm in the broadcast booth on the sideline.
Yeah, I should stay on here. Coop's had a great camp. Just keep it up.
Okay, Jason, before I let you go, Tony Romo's going to come back, most likely his first Cowboy game will be the Cowboys and Kansas City Chiefs. When he's on the air and says, I think Jason Witten has lost a step, are you two still friends?
Well, he'll never say that. I know him too well. He'll never say that. Blood's thicker than water.
Okay.
But you know what? He's going to have to do what he has to do, but I just hope he doesn't tell too many of our signals away and give it all away. But he's going to do a great job, and I'm just so proud of him to see an exciting time in his life.
All right, Jason Witten, we appreciate it. And the Cowboys have taken the lead here. Thanks to Jason Witten with the sideline report here in the third quarter.
Had a great season, Witten.
Noah Brown with the touchdown from Cooper Rush. Your Ford scoring drive engineered by the rookie Cooper Rush, 76 yards in 6 plays, and it's the rookie's 7th round draft pick out of Ohio State, Noah Brown, 19 yards for the score.
We come back, watch Noah Brown. He's up at the top of your screen. It's just a little sluggo move, slant and go. And watch Bryce Butler hold this corner here. We clear it. Watch a little move up top by Noah Brown now. A little in, gets the corner to bite. That's a rookie free agent, Dante Blackman, who says, probably shouldn't have gone for that little inside move there. Nice play by Noah Brown. Ohio State Buckeye.
And the Colts will take over at the 25-yard line. Hey, that's a Dak Prescott-like 4 for 4 on the first possession for the first drive for Cooper Rush.
Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, it's like he's got a new girlfriend every week, right? Whoever's in the game, just come sit with him. Come sit with him.
He looked good. I mean, you're talking about another guy. He's a 4-year starter from college. I mean, that's huge, especially when you're coming from one of those smaller schools. But he moved well. He threw the ball well.
The problem is he may be playing too well right now. He will not be your backup, so let's put that to rest. But Cowboys haven't shown a propensity to keep 3 quarterbacks. Now, if you try to get him through waivers and put him on your practice squad, does another team pick him up? It's always a game you play.
Philip Walker dumps it out to Marlon Mack, who is stopped after a 1-yard pickup, and that was Duke Thomas coming up.
And Daryl, I always go back to Matt Moore. They tried to do that with Matt Moore. He gets claimed. They're trying to bring him back to the practice squad, and 10 years later, Matt Moore is still in the league down in Miami. And so it's a difficult thing, and everybody isn't there, as you know. You're trying to get that 53-man roster. Matt Eberflus, the linebacker coach, he wants that extra linebacker. Rod Marinelli wants an extra.
They're all selling that day.
They're all
selling.
He wants an extra defensive lineman. You want to keep 4 tight ends, suddenly you got an 80-man roster.
Walker to Quan Bray. It's different this year, too. There's only 1 cut-down day this year. They go from 90 to 53 on September 1st.
I'm an old man, but once upon a time, there were 110 guys coming into camp. 83 was my rookie year, and there was about 5 cut-down days, right? You went from 120 to 110, and it was kind of a badge of honor if a guy made it. You say, I got cut on the final cut-down, right? Now, there's only 1. So these guys go, I made it to the last cut. It's only 1.
Third down as the crowd starts to make some noise, and the snap gets away from Walker. Scramble for it. The quarterback got back on it.
Well, you see that a lot at the, and you get
the fourth down.
Threes in there, and we saw it last week with Luke McCown.
The end of the third quarter
for the Cowboys, and ball gets snapped. Nobody quite knows what they're doing.
And that was the final play of the third quarter. Cowboys defense coming through, and the offense. 7-Eleven. Grab all 7 collectible Dallas Cowboys cups with your favorite players exclusively at 7-Eleven. First play of the fourth quarter, and Indianapolis with the punt. Lance Lenore. Flag down. Bill Jones with Babe Loffenberg and Darryl Johnston. As the Cowboys lead this one 17-13. This is the son of Ed Hockley, Sean Hockley, who will tell us what he's got.
During the kick, holding by the return team, number 53. 10 yards will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
Mark Nzacha.
It's interesting, too, because you think of the family business, Darryl, is, you know, the hardware store. Your dad was a plumber. You become a plumber, but you're officiating in the NFL.
You mentioned all the connections, though. I didn't realize the father-sons and the brothers were out there. Yeah.
3 sets of father-son and 4 sets of brothers officiating in the NFL. They would never, I don't think you'd ever put your brother on the same crew, would you? Because you'd kill each other.
Exactly.
You know,
too much time around each other.
Oh, yeah, you'd kill each other.
What do you think of full-time referees?
Yeah, they're coming. 24 full-time officials.
I think it's more for show.
Do you?
Yeah, I think it's more for show.
Just to tell people, okay, you wanted it.
Yeah, we've got a few. They'll be, they'll go do specific things during the course of the off season.
Yeah, the interesting thing is it's not like you have games to officiate.
Exactly.
You can go
they'll be doing clinics and trying.
Yeah.
The big concern that they have is the age of the officials right now, and there's no youth movement coming up through the bottom of the ranks. So maybe the full-time officials, that will be one of their big challenges, is trying to engage some of the guys to come out and start another career as an official.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting too, Laird Hayes, who I gave the big send-off to last year here at AT&T Stadium, said, boy, he's retiring, and well, Laird Hayes is coming back.
Out of retirement already?
Season. We'll see him next week as the Cowboys host Oakland. Yeah, so you talk about those officials, and I believe Laird is 39, right around 39. Okay, maybe 67, something like that.
Perpetually
he's coming
39.
back. I don't care how old you are, you don't want to get rid of good officials, and he's a good one.
Rod Smith, after carrying for 7 yards, gets the first down.
Okay, Rod Smith, we talked about him earlier, Darryl, fullback last year in special teams. I asked him, what'd you weigh last year? And he said about 243, 244. I said, what about this year? He said he went down to 230.
Yeah, he looks much quicker, much more explosive. You're not going to have a 245-pound guy back there returning kickoffs for you. So I think he's very multifaceted. Single back sets, moving him out of formation. Great special teams player, even in the return portion.
Trying to connect with Blake Jarwin, the rookie out of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Cooper Rush would like to have that one back. He's been accurate throughout camp and in the preseason games, the 2 that he has played in, just misfired a little bit there. Going back to Darryl, it's funny how you can very openly ask a guy in the NFL, what is he weighing, what did he weigh last year, what do you want to weigh, all that. I don't recommend that to women. Hey, you look about 148. What were you last year? You're about 153. You think you're like, yeah, well, I was. No, don't do that.
MJ McFarland, number 42, the tight end, was in motion. There's Smith.
we violate all sorts of conventional wisdom, though, on the football field, right? You ask about injuries, you violate every HIPAA law, right? I've yet to have a guy when I say, what are you weighing, what did you weigh last year, what do you hope to weigh, what do you want to weigh? I've yet to guy
none of your
say,
business.
Yeah, none of your business, or that's personal, or how dare you. You hate to say it because it's cliched, but Rod Smith, he's just a good football player. He really can do a lot of things, and obviously the more you can do, the easier it is for the head coach to bring you to the game on Sunday.
And there is Iwuachukwu, and depending on what happens with Zeke Elliott, the running back situation for the Cowboys, you've got Darren McFadden, you got Alfred Morris, and Rod Smith would be the third guy if Zeke is suspended to start the season. The appeal will be heard on August 29th.
And as we saw with Tom Brady, and I don't know if this will be any different, but that thing went on a long time. Obviously went through the court system, and so who knows what's going to happen with Zeke Elliott, whether he'll be here or he won't.
Went a whole year, and then he served the suspension the following season, the 4-game suspension, Deflategate. First down from the Indy 45-yard line. And Smith breaking free for a first down, pick up a 12.
Reminds me of a young Daryl Johnston. A lot of people forget Daryl.
15, 16 years old.
No. Look at this, Rod Smith. Of course, his brother is Jalen Smith, the Cowboys linebacker. You think he likes it? Come on, come on, come on, bro, come on, bro, come on, bro. Yes, yes.
That's great.
Isn't that awesome?
54, Jalen Smith. Flip it, you got 45, Rod Smith. And if you joined us late, Jalen Smith did get about a dozen reps with the first team defense. Looked good. Now it's Rod Smith time. Another first down, running over a man inside the 15.
It's a Rod Smith show.
Well, you know, I think maybe that description, though, is the best way to describe Rod Smith as a football player. You know, he does do a lot of different things for the team. And, you know, this is a very physical run. He's got great feet, you know, inside. He's had a couple of jump cuts during the course of this game. And look at the power.
It's a pickup of 20 yards to the 13.
Like that at the end of that run, Tyson Graham, number 42, the safety, has great position on him. Does everything correct except for get him to the ground. Rod Smith just runs over him. Gets those shoulders down. And he's a tall guy. He's about 6'3", so hard for him to run that low, but he does a good job of it.
Averaging nearly 10 yards a carry. 6 for 56 is what we got him at.
They're second. 32nd.
That's not a bad day at the office.
That's Frank Pollock, the Cowboys offensive line coach, coming over, tapping on the shoulder, saying, hey, we're going to keep giving it to you here, big boy.
Well, you know how those guys like it up front. When you get into that rhythm when you're running the ball the way they have on this drive.
Yeah. And I think that's where a play caller, DJ, comes in terms of, you guys are pumped. You know your runner's running.
Yes.
The offensive line is firing out. You just say, let's
stay with this.
Feeding it to them. Yeah.
Well, that was Norv Turner. That was, it was a very simple playbook. And the one thing that Norv always did, if something was working, he was going to make you stop it.
Yeah.
And if they don't stop it, he's not going to stop calling it.
And there's Scott Linehan.
I think Scott's got a little bit of that in his play calling.
By the way, Norv Turner was at camp this week.
Sure was.
In Oxnard. Great to see Norv there. From the 13-yard line. Little stutter step, and it's a 3-yard loss. You saw Ezekiel Elliott on the sideline encouraging Rod Smith. They were teammates at Ohio State. Rod Smith didn't get a chance to carry the ball at Ohio State
for good
reason.
That
guy.
Well, that's like I was out at USC. My son is basically a intern coach there, and went in and they've got their Heisman trophies, and one is Marcus Allen, one is Charles White. And I told him Marcus Allen was a fullback. He blocked for Charles White.
That's right.
Charles White won the Heisman. He left. They moved Marcus Allen to tailback. He ran for 2,000 yards. He wins the Heisman.
He was pretty good. Not much there, and there is a flag down in the area of holding.
Getting back to Darryl and Bill, you were here, 1989, your rookie year. I remember the Green Bay game. Pounded the ball. I believe had 60 yards on the ground.
I was so effective, we drafted Emmitt Smith in the first round.
No, that's okay. You showed you could run the football.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Defense number 68. 5 yards from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Is it fair, Darryl, for me to say that it's more glamorous to move from fullback to tailback like Marcus Allen did than it is to move from tailback like you did to fullback?
Yeah, you don't want the other movement.
You don't want.
No.
Yep, that was hands to the face. Grover Stewart. And the Cowboys center in there right now, Ross Burbank.
You know they've moved you to fullback too when you're each season you're listed first at 6'4", next year at 6'3", then at 6'2".
Easy Wachuku going down that sideline, the man from Texas A&M and Allen High School.
This is about as good a group of receivers, wide receivers, I think, as the Cowboys have had in camp. Obviously, we haven't seen as much of Ryan Switzer, the 4th-round pick out of University of North Carolina, as they'd like to with the hamstring injury, but I think top to bottom, they got a lot of guys that can play.
Yeah, we talked about the depth at running back to weather the storm with Ezekiel. You think that the wide receiver group is even deeper?
Yeah, the problem is, when you look at, I just love Darryl, the veteran guys, they're sitting there. These guys have been in the room. They've been working hard. They've been doing everything. Not a lot of reward, not a lot of attaboys, not a lot of zeros at the end of the contract. And I love it when the veterans come over and tell them just how good they were in that situation.
It's going to mean the world to a guy like Lance Lenoir when Des Bryant comes up and shares in that moment.
And the extra point is good, and the Cowboys have extended the lead. Cooper Rush has 2 touchdown tosses, and it's a 24-13 lead for Dallas.
Coach Brawl's passing is an immeasurable loss for sports, for the state of Arkansas, for football all over this country. He was a treasure.
Frank Broyles, the former Arkansas head coach and athletic director, passed away earlier this week. Jerry Jones was at his memorial service earlier today. He's now made it back here to AT&T Stadium, but Jerry Jones says that other than his father, Frank Broyles was the most influential man in his life. What a great man Frank Broyles. We're back here at AT&T Stadium. The kick goes through the end zone. Special man in Jerry Jones' life, a coach, Frank Broyles, and also for Daryl Johnston. I know the previous week, Daryl, your college coach at Syracuse, Dick McPherson, passed away, and the impact that he made on your life, Daryl.
Yeah, exactly what Jerry Jones said about Frank Broyles. Probably the most influential, without a doubt, the most influential person in my life beyond my father. And it was a sad day, but was able to make it back to Syracuse for the funeral services and in a traditional Irish wake style. A lot of great stories and a lot of great memories rehashed.
In that era of Syracuse football as well.
Offense number 81, 5 yards, first down.
Certainly not a stretch to say that Dick McPherson revived that program at Syracuse.
He really did. He really did. And he always shared the success with his coaching staff. We had Ivan Fears is still in the league up in New England, and Clarence Brooks, who left us last year, was down in Baltimore. Randy Edsel, Jim Hoffer, just a tremendous group of George O'Leary, just a tremendous group of coaches that we had on those staffs.
You also look at Frank Broyles, not only his impact as a coach and athletic director as he spearheaded the move of Arkansas to the Southeastern Conference, but as a broadcaster as well. He was one of my all-time favorites as a broadcaster for ABC.
Second down.
That's how I remember him as well. As a broadcaster, obviously aware of the legendary coaching status that he had, but that was kind of my wheelhouse of watching college football and seeing the Chris Shankles and Frank Broyles and that Duffy Doherty, who once said not only is he ambidextrous, he can throw with either hand. So there's a few of them.
So Joe Natson on the receiving end. In fact, of course, the big shootout in 1969, Arkansas and Texas, Frank Broyles versus Darrell Royal, 2 coaching legends. And the great thing about their relationship is they were great friends off the field as well. From the 43-yard line, as Stephen Morris out of Miami is quarterback for Indianapolis, and there's Natson again.
It's a little bit like you can tell a person's age if you say, hey, 88 for the Cowboys, and if they say Drew Pearson, you know their era. If they say Michael Irvin, you know their era. And if they say Des Bryant, it's like John Madden. Some kids don't know that John Madden coached in the NFL.
He's a video game guy.
He's a video game guy, yeah. Well, he also had coached for 10 years with the Raiders.
Pretty good coach in the NFL.
He's in the Hall of Fame, and he did that little game thing.
Well, there are some who may wonder the same about Jimmy Johnson. You got to tell some people that Jimmy Johnson was a coach before he was a broadcaster, and a pretty good one. Troy Maine Pope as Duke Thomas runs him down.
How about Tremaine Pope? This is a great story on this kid. He was working at a Honda plant in Lincoln, Alabama for $9 an hour. And his mom said, stick with the steady job. He had a child. He said, no, I want to do this football thing.
And that was in August of last year. Training camps had already started.
Yeah.
And he said, nope, I'm believing that I'm gonna get a chance in the NFL. And it was like within 24 hours, the Seattle Seahawks called.
Gave him a phone call.
Right, and he was in the Seahawks camp. And he got an opportunity last year on active rosters, not only with the Seahawks, but with the Jets, and he got picked up by the Colts this year.
I think he put that $9 an hour job to shame.
Yeah. That's Pope again down to the 40-yard line.
You get a guy like that, and you don't have to worry about his desire, Daryl.
No,
he seems like a great kid.
We always talk. You have all these events that these kids coming out of college go to, but the one thing you can't measure at the combine is the heart. They measure a lot of stuff there, but the one thing you're never going to be able to measure is a guy's heart, and he fits that mold perfectly. I mean, how many guys out there just didn't have things fall their way that have the ability to play at this level?
Well, Cowboys have a number of them on their team. Cole Beasley probably being at the top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
How many names could you go down before if you asked an NFL fan who led the Cowboys in receptions last year? Guarantee you they'd have 5 names before they'd get to Cole Beasley, but he did it. There he is. 75 receptions, and I really thought he had a Pro Bowl year.
And there's a wide open receiver. That's Natson down inside the 15-yard line. And how about, you talk about Cole Beasley being a smallish receiver? Well, JoJo Natson is listed at 5'7", 153 pounds.
And you know he's not that big.
Played 3 years at Utah State and finished up at Akron last year. There's a guy who just got signed this week by the Cowboys, Dejon Butler, rookie out of Hawaii. Made that tackle.
I love that. You get signed on a Tuesday, you get a couple of practices, and then you're on the field just hoping that you're getting the right call, right? But they're keeping it pretty simple for those guys right now. It's cover 2, it's cover 3, or it's man, you know? Not doing a whole lot of exotic things defensively.
Stephen Morris out to George Wynn, who's getting tackled at the 6-yard line.
Amazing, though. 1 minute you're just sitting around doing whatever you're doing. Now they're working out, they're doing all that, but you're just hoping for a call. You get a call, and 3 days later, you're playing in the greatest football stadium in the world.
You're hoping for soft tissue injuries, which is what happened with the Cowboys, and he got a call. Not only him, but also John Green, a rookie from UConn, signed this week. He's wearing number 44. Fumble on the snap.
Not sure what happened to that snap. Yeah. Left guard, you see, he's turning over. Yeah, he thinks.
He's underneath.
We saw it in reverse last week where he snapped it over the quarterback's head. That's Adam Redmond. He's from Harvard, too. A Harvard man should know if another man has his hands under his rear end.
Stephen Morris almost picked off by Joseph Jones out of Northwestern.
Well, they've had lots of opportunities this preseason for turnover takeaways. They just can't. They can't finish it.
Turnover on down.
3:48 left in this game.
Timeout.
This game is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
All right, Bill, we talk about how important it is to sustain third down conversions when you have the ball and to get the other team off the field. Chuck Pagano, they went 4 of 18, the Colts did last week. He said we have to be better on third down. They're 1 of 11 tonight. So the old thing, just because you can identify the problem doesn't mean you can solve it.
Mission not accomplished.
Tell you what solves it, though, is getting number 12 back at quarterback, Andrew Luck.
That's exactly right. Let's go down to the sideline in Lindsay.
Thanks, Bill. I'm with linebacker Jalen Smith, who this was a big night. Everybody was talking about you, Jalen, but what were your feelings leading up to this kickoff?
So much excitement, just having that opportunity to play the game that I love. It's a blessing to be out here and, was able to do some things tonight. So I'm really excited. Now it's just time to keep pushing forward.
What was that first big play like? We all know the swipe, the celebration, the stadium erupted, but what did that feel like for you?
A dream come true, to a guy who, I've been playing the game since I was 7 years old, wanting to play in the National Football League. And for my first big play to be able to do the swipe, it was an amazing feeling. Like I said, I've had a clear eye view this whole entire process, and I'm thankful to be able to show it and share it with our fans.
I want to ask you, we wanted to get you earlier, but you had to stay over there to watch your brother Rod. This is the first team you've ever been on together. What is that experience like?
Oh, it's a dream come true. Both of us, we wanted to play in the National Football League. It's a dream come true. And then we wanted to play on the same team. So when I got that call, by Jerry Jones, in 2016, it was just a blessing. We knew we were going to be able to play together one day, and it's a great feeling. You can definitely imagine how our parents feel right now.
Jalen, thank you so much for the time, and have a fantastic year.
Thank you so much. Go Cowboys.
Bill, back to you.
All right, Jalen and Rod Smith from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Extra special that they're doing this against the Indianapolis Colts as well. 2-minute warning here at AT&T Stadium as the Cowboys prepare to punt when we come back to Arlington. Where do your donations to the Salvation Army go? Wherever hope is the only thing left. Donate today. The Salvation Army doing the most good. 2 minutes left here at AT&T Stadium. Sam Irwin-Hill is on to punt for the Cowboys as the Cowboys lead the Colts 24-13. Gets it away from his own end zone and at midfield. JoJo Natson on the return. Natson in college had 4 punt returns for touchdowns one season at Utah State. So good job by the Cowboys special teams unit in covering that punt.
Don't know if we would have seen Ryan Switzer as the Cowboys punt returner in the preseason. Don't know if they'd save him or whatnot, but we haven't had that opportunity, obviously, because he's missed the first 2 games with a hamstring injury. But when the season starts, provided the hamstring's healthy, I'm suspecting he'll be the Cowboys punt returner.
And just watching him in practice on punt returns, he just seems to have a presence about him. He knows what he's doing back there. And obviously has a track record at North Carolina also. Looking forward to maybe Switzer being able to play next week when the Oakland Raiders come here to AT&T Stadium in the annual dress rehearsal game.
I think it carries over a lot to that slot receiver position too, right? You're working inside with a lot of bodies. You've got that natural feel for the running lanes as a returner.
He was actually a heck of a running back in high school too. There's another interception that the Cowboys, they could have had about 3 of them tonight. And this one goes through. Now you can't blame him too much because he's had all of 2 days of practice, right?
Well, I think that one we may be able to get on him a little bit. I think.
Yeah, well, I'm being kind.
It's Dejon Butler. If you look at Robert Blanton, a veteran safety. There's Butler, number 37, signed earlier this week. He was in the Saints camp earlier, so he wasn't totally off the street. Stephen Morris, and that ball gets away. It's incomplete.
That was good recognition by Robert Blanton. You kind of see that one developing, and he got a really nice jump on the ball, got there right as the ball arrived.
So again, Chuck Pagano, the Colts head coach, said we have to be better on 3rd down because in the first game they were just 4 of 16 in the first game, 4 of 18, excuse me, and they're now 1 of 12.
And now facing a 4th and 5 at the Cowboy 38-yard line. Flags.
Yep, free play here. We're going to have 2 flags because we're going to get a pass interference call at the end of this.
It was Charles Tapper getting to the quarterback too.
We're going to have encroachment to start with here.
That's some of the detail stuff that the coaches will talk to these. I mean, 4th and 5. I mean, you have to know
stay on.
It's going to be a long count.
And then Duke Thomas at the end of this is going to get called for pass interference.
There were 2 fouls by the defense on the play. Offside, number 56. That penalty's declined. Holding, defense number 26. 5 yards from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Excuse me. It was a holding call and not pass interference. The difference, of course, being if the ball is in the air, it becomes pass interference. I thought the ball was in the air by the time the flag was thrown by our back judge.
Rod Marinelli, Cowboys defensive coordinator.
You chuckle. Why do you chuckle?
I enjoy talking to him so much. The history of the game, the passion he had. I mean, how can you not love that guy? He's fantastic.
If you're the one getting cussed out by him right now, that's how.
There's 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go in the 2nd, 3rd preseason game of the year. You're up 24-13, and that is Rod Marinelli still coaching and teaching.
There's a completion to the far sideline. Hopefully they're okay on the sideline there.
Gets up, gets a
Fred
little foul.
Brown.
One thing I do believe this, though, Daryl, that sometimes the game becomes easier for players to practice because they're not sitting there 5 feet away from you. This way you want to keep your head on a swivel when you're on the sideline. Yeah, but when you're in security, Daryl, you're looking at the stands. You got to protect those stands.
But somebody's got to give you the heads up that the play is in your area.
I think he needs to get credit for a tackle, though.
Fred Brown in the end zone.
I don't think he got the second over. That'll be interesting.
Called a touchdown at 57 seconds left in the game.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Yeah, may want to hold off on that dance for a moment. I thought he got knocked out of bounds before he got 2 feet in. And if you recall, the old rule was you couldn't carry. He got 1, 2.
Wow, he did. Well done.
Very nice. I really thought he was going to get some broken ribs right here. Not that I wanted to see him, but you're extended, you're up in the air. I thought Blanton was just going to come in and just put that helmet into the ribs.
Always so impressed, more times than not, how the officials have it right the first time around. And a bang-bang play like that. I mean, at game speed, seeing that he's got possession, both feet down.
I say it many times, and I know it's fun now. It's like a sport to criticize the officiating in every game and get on Twitter and all that, but for how fast this game goes, and we come back there and we'll get 10 looks at it in slow motion, HD replay, and you're still trying to figure out, was it a fumble, was it not, was it a catch, was it not, and they don't have that luxury on the field.
Who was the last quarterback that Fred Brown caught a touchdown pass from?
Oh, wow.
Stephen Morris, the 2-point conversion try does not work. The last touchdown pass for Fred Brown was from Dak Prescott at Mississippi State.
Oh, nice.
So there you go.
Nice.
Fred Brown has a touchdown for the Colts. This one from Stephen Morris, 24-19. The Reliant Bring the Energy Defensive Player of the Game. Well, how about number 54, Jalen Smith, getting his first action since the Fiesta Bowl some nearly 20 months ago. Playing for Notre Dame, coming back from that devastating knee injury, and Jalen Smith, the Reliant Energy Defensive Player of the Game. Reliant, an NRG company.
Be honest, he had that one when he took the field, didn't he, Bill?
That's right. And the onside kick is recovered by the Cowboys, and the Cowboys will take over with 54 seconds left.
Please reset the game clock to 55 seconds. 5-5 on the game clock, please.
Indianapolis with 2 timeouts left.
Thank you.
Cowboys with 1, but they won't be needing it. But I wonder, is Chuck Pagano going to stop the clock here, try to get the football back? Chuck Pagano, who losing some of that hair anyway, but tearing his hair out this week, it felt like, didn't it, Bill, watching those press conferences? And again, until they get number 12 back, Andrew Luck, it's going to be an uphill climb for this team offensively.
Andrew Luck had shoulder surgery in January, and there's some real question whether he'll be back for the season opener. That's Ronnie Hillman for the Cowboys, working the right side, and they will use their timeouts. As for Jason Garrett,
Indianapolis,
and the Cowboys, they've got lots of positive things to build on this week and some things to coach as well when they get to the Star in Frisco for the resumption of training camp. Tonight's Essilor's play of the game, and it would be the first touchdown of the game on the first drive of the game as the Cowboys went 95 yards. Dak Prescott was a perfect 4 for 4, the 32-yarder to Dez Bryant. Essilor, makers of Transitions, Crizal, and Verilux lenses. Better sight, better life. Second down for the Cowboys. And Ronnie Hillman gets out to the 40-yard line. And don't forget Ronnie Hillman is also in the mix at that backup running back position, but he was a late signing once camp opened.
And really more of probably a third down back.
Right. Kind of in the Lance Dunbar mold. Dunbar now with the Rams, signed in free agency. Did not play last week as he starts camp on PUP himself. And now time to take a knee as the clock winds down under 10 seconds. Cooper Rush to do the honors.
That's a good feeling right there.
He worked it to perfection as well. So it's a 24-19 Cowboy win over the Indianapolis Colts, running the record to 2-1 this preseason. And again, the Cowboys will be at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco for 4 days of practice this week, and then the Oakland Raiders come here for preseason game number 4 next Saturday here at AT&T Stadium.
By the way, all those training camp practices have been sold out, correct,
Yeah,
Bill?
that's what I
understand.
understand.
So if you're thinking of just going up and watching the Cowboys practice, that won't happen.
That's a very good point,
yeah.
babe. All right, Jalen Smith night here on a Saturday night in Arlington, and we're back to wrap things up in a moment after a Cowboy 24-19 win over the Colts.
This game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Indianapolis Colts at AT&T Stadium was sponsored by 7-Eleven. Grab all 7 collectible Dallas Cowboys cups with your favorite players exclusively at 7-Eleven. Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams is the official paint supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Baylor Scott and White Health. We're changing healthcare for life. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Lincoln Motor Company, the official luxury vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Pepsi, all for the Cowboys. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. And by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. Want to tour AT&T Stadium? For more information, call 817-892-TOUR.
Cowboys are winners tonight over the Colts, 24-19 the final score, and lots of positivity coming out of this one, especially as far as the first teamers are concerned. Babe Loffenberg.
Well, offensively, they just looked sharp. Led them on a 95-yard drive. Dak Prescott did right from the get-go. Started out with a 23-yard completion to Dez Bryant. Finished it off with a 32-yard touchdown to Dez Bryant. Got Jason Witten, our man number 82, right there on a little bootleg. And defensively, Darryl, I thought, for the second straight week, Cowboys played very, very well.
They did. I think there's some depth in the defensive line. We're starting to see a little bit of that. The one concern I would have, the fact that the young guys haven't been able to play in the secondary, and there's a lot of opportunities to recover fumbles, to make interceptions, and they're not completing that. So turnovers are such a huge part of the game. We saw that for Dallas tonight. So, the turnover in the red zone, the turnover that cost them the 7 points. So that would be my only concern. And then special teams. I think decision-making and some of the other things that Rich Bisaccia is going to look at with the guys, and really when they get into the detail, he's going to want to see some improvement there.
But as you know, with the special teams, Darryl, the guys that are playing special teams tonight won't be playing them against the New York Giants, right?
Absolutely. I know it's hard to look at that, but there's certain areas, Lance Lenore still, the first punt, it's not clean. So there's a couple of things that I think could carry over into the regular season from a special team standpoint that I think Rich would like to see improve.
And when you look ahead to next week, the Oakland Raiders will be here. Darryl will be here, as well as Babe next week. There's a lot to look forward to with the quote-unquote dress rehearsal game.
Yeah, and again, it's just a matter of getting out healthy. I think, personally, I saw enough offensively, Darryl, where I would say, okay, I don't need to see Dak. I think Jason Witten's done this a time or two. We want to keep Dez healthy. Your thoughts?
No, I think you don't play worrying about somebody getting hurt. You want to play and you want to improve. You want to take that next step. So I think I've always been that guy that you want to see him turn it at halftime, but I don't think we get a half out of it.
Well, I know that I talked to Sean Lee earlier in the week, and he said I like 40 or 50 snaps to get me ready for the regular season. So he wants to play.
And of course, Sean Lee has a hamstring issue right now. He did not play tonight. We should see him next week when the Oakland Raiders are here. Perhaps we'll see Zeke Elliott as well. Cowboys are winners 24-19 over the Indianapolis Colts. For Darryl and Babe, I'm Bill. We'll see you again next week.